I used to run up until recently Sony Acid, which I've been using for years.
I've never even heard of that one.
It was like a Pro Tools, but when I had to record the audio for my book, I realized it wasn't able to output at the right
I know what you're saying.
the kilobytes. So
Yep.
it's like the frame rate, but
Kilohertz.
yeah.
Kilohertz.
And I was like, oh, I guess I'm done with this program. And so I moved over to Audacity to record the audiobook.
So you did the audiobook. So when you were doing the audiobook, because I've never done anything like that, is it like hours and hours and hours of sitting here reading?
So I'm insane. Okay, so my wife was going on a trip to Florida, and I had dropped her off at O'Hare at like 4 a.m. And I was like, I'm not going back to bed. And I was like, well, she was going to be gone for like a week. I was like, all right, I'm going to take a couple of days, and I'm going to crank this thing out. And like, it's a thick book, dude. Like, it's a lot. But I did the whole thing in 8 hours.
Oh, that's crazy.
I took 2 breaks, one just to eat, and then the other one was just I needed to clear my head because my voice was starting to get raw. But I realized I only had like 6 chapters left. I was like, dude, I'm gonna finish this whole book today. I did the whole audiobook in one day. Now I think the full audio when it's done is like 3 hours, but you
didn't even like stutter or anything? You just
no, I made mistakes. That's why it took me 8 hours.
Still though. But how long's the audiobook?
I think it's like three hours. I think 3 to 4 hours. It's not. I mean, it's a fast read, so it was a fast listen, but. Yeah,
I don't think that's the general way to do audiobooks. I don't think that's what.
And I'll be honest,
I've heard that it's like painful to do audiobooks.
My voice was definitely shot by the end, but I knew that was a possibility. I've been doing audio and production for years, so I started the first couple chapters, and then I immediately went to the end of the book and did the final chapters, and then came back. So that way, if I started getting fatigue, it would come back by the end of the book, and it did. So there's a little bit of fatigue, like around like chapter 12. You can hear like a little bit of rasp in my voice, but then it just seems to go away.
You know what makes me think about like how actors will shoot at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning for these scenes. You're watching in a movie and you're thinking
you have no
about
idea.
it like anything else. Yeah. Like I think I can't remember what is the guy's name. He was in Leon the Professional. He was the bad guy. Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, yeah.
So I think I read a story about him coming in drunk at like 3 a.m. in the morning for a scene once. And like he's such a pro that like they still ended up getting something out of him. But
well, I mean, it's Gary Oldman. I mean, but he's amazing.
Well, dude, yeah, he is amazing.
I've always said if the goal of an actor is to become someone other than themselves, then he and Daniel Day-Lewis are like the people who do it. I can't think of anyone else who completely becomes somebody. I mean, Eddie Murphy, kind of.
I would say, yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe Mike Myers, but that's in comedy, right?
Because I'm thinking like completely becoming someone else. Like losing yourself in the performance.
Daniel Day-Lewis was Abraham Lincoln. I don't care what anybody says. Gary Oldman was Winston Churchill. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, Winston Churchill. I mean, you know what? Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
you could throw him in there. Not anymore. But
yeah,
I would say every single role he was in, I mean, Marlon Brando, you could probably say did that. Maybe.
So I would disagree. I think Marlon Brando was still very Brando in everything he did.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Because there's names
son of a bitch.
There's names that'll pop in your head, and you want to say that they're being themselves, but then you realize, you want to say that they're not being themselves.
Right.
But then you think about it, there is kind of like a running thread.
Christopher Walken, Jack Nicholson, these guys.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio.
They are just them in...
Robert De Niro.
They are literally people, Pacino, they're all still the same guy. You like that guy for that character. But Gary Oldman... My gosh, I mean,
wow.
All of his character work, I mean, he's different people.
Yeah.
Commissioner Gordon to Sirius Black to Drexel in True Romance. Like, I mean, totally different dudes. I mean, the dude in Fifth Element, I mean, he plays completely different people. And that is, like I say, I've always argued that if you're an actor, your job is to convince the world you're not who we know you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's my opinion.
I feel like it's just extremely creative. And I think that's like the type of creativity that I think is rare, where it's like most people will do something that they know that works, and then they'll learn to repeat that. And I think the the best creativity is the people who don't even want to do the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
They actually like don't like doing the same thing over and over, and it upsets them to do the same thing over and over. Like it makes me think about how Kurt Cobain hated to play Smells Like Teen Spirit, and he never wanted to perform it ever.
I mean, he never wanted to live the same day the same way.
Exactly. It's like all rooted in this deep creativity that made all of the art that he made. It's like he never wanted to do the same thing. Or like someone like a Robin Williams, who's just so on the go and moving and making something new every second. Like those are the people that I think inspire you the most.
He was definitely a big inspiration for me as an entertainer. The only thing that makes me sad is that when he died, I realized how many other entertainers he was an inspiration for. And so I kind of, not that I deny it, but I don't talk about it much anymore. Cause like I used to do Christopher Walken impersonations probably 10 years before everybody else was doing it. You know? And so I stopped. They're like, how come you don't do Walken anymore? I said, because everyone else is doing them now. It's like, it's the same idea, you know? So, but yeah, he was a big inspiration for me. Eddie Murphy was probably, he was the first comedian I ever really saw when I was a little kid.
Really?
Eddie Murphy Delirious. And I remember watching that going, because I always wanted to be like a rock star, like a famous rock star. And so when I watched Delirious, I had to have been like 6 years old, which questioning my parents' style of parenting, but watching that, I remember going like, well, here's a dude who is on a stage in front of a stadium, you know, and he's doing stand-up comedy. And I'm like, that's amazing. I had never seen anybody do anything like that. And so that was kind of my first picture of what that's like, you know, and obviously as I've aged and matured and learned, and I've changed what that is.
Do you think that when you saw that, you immediately thought, I want to do that?
Oh, 1,000%.
Interesting.
I didn't...
Because like when I first heard like rap music, I didn't immediately think that's going to be what I want to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was something, I didn't know if it was become, I didn't want to be a comedian. I just wanted to be a performer.
Right.
I wanted to be up on stage. I wanted people, look at me, pay attention to me, listen to me. That's what I wanted. Probably because I got my own, you know, childhood issues, but who doesn't? But
especially all the performers.
Yeah,
right?
it's exactly. That's all it is. It's just we're all seeking validation, which is disgusting, but it's true. So, but yeah, I wanted to be, you know, Michael Jackson. I wanted to be Bono. I wanted to be like these big, you know. I always gravitated towards whoever the big successful earmarks were. You know, Eddie Murphy was way ahead of his time as far as capitalizing on the commercial aspect of that industry. You know? I mean, I just watched his
in all sorts of ways.
I just watched his AFI award, and they just went through his career, and I'm like, yeah, he always like I think he was like 18 on SNL.
Well, and just the way that he was so bold, you know. I don't think there was any comedian who had spoken like that.
He made up his mind and said, "This is what I'm going to do."
Yeah,
this is what I'm going to do. Even behind the scenes with production and the ideas. I mean, you know, on SNL, I mean, he wrote stuff. I mean, like he created characters.
Because I would say like that paves the way for other comedians to then come in and do that same thing.
He was definitely a door kicker.
Door kicker,
for sure.
Because I mean, like, those are the people that you don't realize it in the moment, but they're like the thing that influences the future.
Yeah,
you know,
like, for sure.
That's why those things are rare. That's why those people are actually rare, because and they look sort of crazy at first. Like I think you have to be like kind of crazy and look crazy to actually do something like that.
I've
like, you know, people were telling Eddie Murphy no over and over and over again.
Oh, for sure.
They're like, you're out of your mind, dude.
That's the whole point of my book.
This is not the format. This is not how we do it.
Yep. That's the whole point of my book is I've made a career out of, this is what I want to do. No one's helping me do it. People are actively working against me to say no. And I'm like, okay, fuck this. I'm going to do it myself. And what does it take to make it happen myself? And I've done that with everything, with music, with podcasting, with writing, with comedy, with acting, with producing films now. Like there is nothing to stop you. I mean, one of the tenets of the book is if no one's coming to save you, that also means there's no one coming to stop you.
Yeah.
And once you realize that, it is so freeing. It really is. I mean, I am literally living the life I have dreamed of. It's not the way I thought it would be, because I had to do way more work to make it happen.
Right.
But this is all work. It's all work.
So, like, what's an instance of someone telling you no and you having to do that then?
Oh, I mean, goodness. I mean, even if you just want to just break it down to comedy, I would just say there are people who are definitely like gatekeepers, and
right.
I would love to do more stuff locally. Not a lot of people are interested in booking me because of whatever reasons they have. I mean, I know what those reasons are, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But
it's always just personal.
It's always well, and because they have positioned themselves in a place of I own this comedy club, or I am the manager of this comedy club, or I am the booker for this comedy club, and it's like, okay, fuck comedy clubs then.
Right.
It's that simple. If the comedy club is going to put an individual who can't work for the progression of the talent, or the progression of the art, or the progression of the industry, then fuck them.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the growing sentiment amongst comedians. And I think that what's going to happen, like, it's funny because I've been saying this for a while and I'm hearing more and more people say it. But I just think it's kind of, the clubs are shooting themselves in the foot. Like, if you were smarter, you wouldn't be doing that. Because you would be thinking, what's our long-term plan? And when you book that way, you're creating this little in-group, and the problems start to arise, right? Because then you start to ignore certain things.
Yeah.
Like, maybe there's just a disconnect. Maybe a certain comic will bomb for 4 weeks straight, and he doesn't actually deserve that spot, but he's your friend. Stuff like this will happen, and then audiences will start to respond to that, and not comedians. I'm talking the people who are the fans of your club, the people who like your club, fans of comedy. And what do? They go to a different club, or they just stop going to comedy clubs.
Well,
and this is the long-term problem, right?
Yeah.
It's like book based on the talent, book based on... I mean, it's interesting because I think ever since 2012 to 2016, James Fisher Jr. told me this. So he runs Trigger Warning Open Mic, and he's been around for, I think I want to say 10, 15 years, because that's why he would know this.
I'm familiar with James.
Okay, so he told me that was around when bookers stopped going to the open mics. That was when you would stop seeing them at open mics, and they've never come back since.
Nope.
And this is the root of this whole problem. Like, I'm pretty sure it's all this. It's just that the way people
Emily
book.
at Babs.
Except for her.
She runs the open mic, which is a very smart thing.
Yeah.
So she's forced to have to see everything, which I think actually is great.
Good.
I think that's
fantastic.
Great. And she is the sole booker of that venue.
Because that's the ideal scenario.
Yeah.
You want to see everything.
Yeah.
And that mentality is just gone. That's like, and in my mind, everything. I had this revelation on mushrooms once, and I'll never forget it.
Most people do.
Most people do. Everything is curation. Like, everything you ever do, you don't actually create anything. You're curating.
You're collecting.
Things.
Yeah.
And what you're known for is the things that you collect, the ideas you collect, the things you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
That's what becomes you.
Yeah.
That you're not actually creating anything. And so I think of producing that way, but people don't. Like,
I do, very much. Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
Because that's your legacy, and that's your club's legacy. That's your place's how are people going to remember? How are people going to leave your place thinking? And it's up to you to create that energy and to pull those proper people in, and it's only up to you or whoever you put in charge of that. And if your prerogative is, I just want the biggest number, and I actually don't care about anything else, well, that might work right now.
Well, and people are missing out on, you can still have that be your top goal, but you have to put in the work of what we just discussed to achieve that.
Yeah.
Or if you think you're getting the biggest number, you're actually shooting yourself in the foot from getting an even bigger number because you're not thinking that far ahead.
Yeah.
And we talked before the show about how, it takes a lot to be open to change your opinion, change your mind on things. I used to be a booker for a comedy club.
Right.
And I was very much anti-DIY because I was in the establishment, right? And so we needed to keep our business running. But I definitely learned after that life situation changed for me, like, oh yeah, no, I get it. I absolutely get it. And I understand it and I respect it. And so then it became, okay, well, I wanted to be the best booker I can be in that situation. Well, then when it became time to produce things, well, then I wanted to be the best producer I could be in that situation. And again, I've done paid shows. I've done free shows. My biggest thing is I like offering free shows. The issue with free, though, is you have a seriously huge responsibility, because if you do a free show and you put up garbage, then people are going to associate free with cheap or with garbage, right? So my thing is, if I'm putting on a free show, I want to stack it with probably some of the best talent I can get my hands on, so that when people are considering going out for comedy, because again, comedy clubs are in big trouble right now. They really are. I mean, just society in general, the younger generation isn't drinking much, and that's how the clubs make their money, is by the bar. Yeah. That's why so many of them had their drink minimums, right? Well, I'm sorry, but society is not boozing it up as much, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
It just makes people not go.
So yeah, they're just losing out. So now it becomes okay.
That's why I don't drink. I'm thinking, you're already charging me $25 for a ticket. Are you out of your mind? So you're making me pay $50 for a comedy show.
When you do a DIY, what is it? Especially if you don't own the venue yourself, you're working with another venue of some sorts. Well, what is it that venue is asking you to come in and do? The venue is asking you to come in and help them make money.
Yeah.
So, like I left a huge residency I had at a place in Lisle that I was working at for 2.5 years producing shows. Those were paid shows. But we were successful, and then management changed there, and it just, creative differences became the issue, and I gave them a couple of months, and I was like, oh, I don't like this anymore. So I moved, and I just started last month with a brand new venue, but this new venue is a restaurant-style venue. So it gets down to, well, what is their goal? Their goal is to, I mean, sure, they'd love to sell alcohol, but that's not their big markup. It's their food. So now it becomes this, hey, come and have dinner and a show. Because we're trying to instigate people to, or incentivize people to buy the food.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's the focus for me as a producer. How can I help people buy this guy's food? And so that's what we started on. So it became this thing of, come an hour before the show, order some food, sit down, have a meal, and then yuck it up over dessert and coffee or whatever. Because if you're not going to buy alcohol, you better be buying food. And that's the idea. And we just had our first one last month, and it was not only was it packed, we had to move the entire staging area because we had to add more tables. Like, that's, again, I may not be super famous, but I'm certainly successful.
Yeah.
And, fame and success are not mutually exclusive. I know plenty of famous people who are literally sending me messages asking me to borrow money. And I know people who are not uber famous, but, they're driving the hot, fancy cars. They've got the beautiful houses.
I just think the reality is distorted.
Yeah.
And no one really, and I think that also, maybe even like just the whole class warfare thing plays into it too, like hating rich people and hating this, because you just look at somebody who has what you don't have and you automatically assume their life has to be better than yours, and that's just not true. Like a lot of these people who are famous or who are doing well,
no, you're absolutely right.
Like, and the being like spiritually okay and being happy, those things are not synonymous with
and we
success.
were talking about Christianity earlier and what it says and what it doesn't try to teach people, and we were joking about how, same thing Christianity says, stop doing that. Stop looking at what they have. It's not about that. And also it mentions that if they have a lot of that, it's going to be a lot harder for them to get, in the end, so it's like, and you can see it. You can, and
I think your problems get magnified. So if you don't already take care of that thing that you got, it just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger the more and more success you get.
Yeah.
Because it's harder to take care of it because you have these these dependents.
Very
all
much
these
so.
Things that matter now.
Yeah.
People care what you say all of a sudden.
Well, they do and they don't.
They do and they don't, but people react,
Yes.
Like when I think like when you are not there yet, you think like, you think you have all this pressure on you and you think all these things actually, but then you realize the more and more you actually get to where you want to be, oh, it was easier back then.
It's surprising what people do give a shit about versus what they don't.
That's a good point.
And it's funny because, not that I want to keep saying, I talked about this in my book, but I am promoting it. But one of the things I talk about in the book is there was a moment not too long ago where people thought I was in like real mental degradation, like something was wrong with me. Like they thought I was having a break because I was talking about things that were just interesting to me, and I was just expressing myself. We talk about like there's the online version of you and the real you. I constantly try to put the real me out there, and so I was just expressing myself and just pointing out things that were bothering me and whatever. And an ex-girlfriend who I went on one date with like 10 years before I met my wife reached out to me out of the blue, and she was like, hey, you're posting some weird stuff. Are you okay? And I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on? You know, but people were reaching out to me like, hey man, are you all right? Are you all right? I'm like, what do you mean am I all right? Like, I wasn't saying anything. I wasn't saying anything that was going to hurt myself or anything remotely like that. But I realized that once I say anything, and this goes true for any public figure, especially comedy, once you put something out, you no longer own it. Now people write the rest of the story for you by what they see. And so people were just describing that information from David Vox Mullen going, oh, he's obviously sad about something. And maybe I was, but it wasn't like, hey, this thing, bothers me. And that's all I say. And they're going, oh, well then therefore, but that wasn't real. Like that, I was just saying this bothers me.
Yeah.
And then I went about my day. But they read that into, oh, that bothers him and therefore he's going to do something or he's going to think something or must be thinking something. And it's like,
which of those things is real or more important then? Like you and what your original intent is or how they interpret it?
I think the beauty of social media, for all its downfall, is it is still the open forum. It is still the public square. And I think there is something beautiful about that crazy person with the cardboard, the sandwich soapbox sign that says the end is near that no one's paying attention to. Like, right. I think there's beauty in that, So I love that, the homeless guy with a sign that says, something about the state of society as opposed to give me money.
I think that's what social media was. I think that was the original idea, but I don't think that's what it is anymore.
Oh, sure.
I think that originally,
but there's still those dudes in the street.
Especially YouTube, even. I mean, like dudes. But even the dudes in the street, like I don't think algorithms reward that guy.
Oh God, no.
That's the thing. Like you actually have to go out in the real world to see that guy because you're not. You'll get a false sense of those things if you look on social media. You might get the homeless guy, but the homeless guy you get actually has he can do a Jesse Pinkman impression. He went viral.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like I love those videos of these people who are like charitable and they give to like the homeless, and then the part of me, the cynical part of me goes, but why'd you film it?
Oh, dude, that's that's all I can think, because in my mind that's not actual generosity.
Right.
I understand the point.
It goes back to that selfishness thing we talked about.
You could I even could steel man their argument. I know what they're thinking. They're thinking they're gonna say, how are you saying this is not real charity? Are you the one that's going out there and giving them money? I filmed it to inspire other people to do the same thing. Yeah. That's what they're going to say. But the thing is, no, you didn't. And we all know you didn't. It's kind of like we were talking earlier about how everything is inherently selfish. Mm-hmm. Deep down, at its core, what's the point of posting this video?
Yeah.
Truly. Yeah. It's so you can grow your social media and get people to watch your next video.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it. Otherwise, you really would just do it out of the pureness of your heart, and you would just. And also, I think you're taking advantage of the homeless person. I really think you are. I mean,
it's exploitation.
Yeah, you're just exploiting them. Like, yeah, of course they want them to give them money.
And
they'll say yes. Of course, they'll say yes.
And the hard part with that is, at the same time, I still want that individual,
and you still want them to get the money,
to get something. Yeah, exactly. So it's tough.
If anything, it's just a glaring example of our society. You look at it, and it's even acts of generosity have to be done through the lens of something so disingenuous, Well,
it's funny because, I'm a Gen Xer, so I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I was watching, these televangelists who were just raking it in. And I remember thinking, these poor people give sometimes money they can't afford to give, but they're doing it because they have such faith.
Yeah.
And these preachers are getting their private jets and all that stuff on that. But then I kind of get this sense that God still blesses those people. Like, even though this guy is ripping them off, God knew why they were giving the way they were giving, and he still takes care of those people. It's just, the whole thing is just a monstrous mess.
Yeah.
And I can't stand it. It makes me angry. Whatever. But that's the point I'm making, is that even in the wickedness of those who are preying on other people's sympathies or emotions like they do on social media, like I said, that homeless guy still got to eat that day, still got to get new clothes, still got a haircut, still. So it's a tough thing. It's charity in general. It's like, if you dig into any well-known charity organization, fractions of cents on the dollar that you give actually gets to what they're promoting.
Right.
But the way they legally get away with it is, we're still giving them something that they wouldn't have had otherwise. It's like, yeah, but you got a $1 million condo, and it's gross. I mean, but it is what it is. And again, like your point is, what are you going to do about it?
Exactly.
And that is the wickedness of people.
When I think like people miss this idea that it actually does start with you. Like the actions, everything starts with you. It's not, you can't sit here and expect the world to change because of somebody else's actions. Like you're saying about how everybody telling you no and doing it yourself anyway. That's all of life, is you just making the right choices because you're supposed to, not because anybody's looking, but because that's how it works. In order for other people to do the right thing, you do the right thing first, and then other people are just going to see that and hopefully follow suit, know?
Well, and that's why in the book I talk about, see how I brought that right back?
Yeah. Fantastic.
It's I have a section that's
you just need to find a different sentence to say, like in chapter 6.
In chapter 12.
That'll make it more, like a little bit smoother.
If I memorized it, even better, right?
On page 67, I say this.
But yeah, exactly.
Then it'd be like, whoa, this guy really knows
this
book.
guy is really working. But I have a whole section about momentum beats perfection. And what that means is, at the core of this book, it started off as just me telling stories, but then it quickly became, this is a how-to book. This is a how to survive the entertainment world on your terms type of a mentality book. And I have so many people in my life who are so talented, I'm sure you have too, who just don't get off their butts and do anything with that amazing mind.
There's most of them.
Yeah. And it's heartbreaking because it's like, and they'll come to me and go, well, Dave, you're doing all this stuff. It's like, yes, you can too. You just have to commit to doing the things that I'm doing to do them.
Yeah.
Well, I don't, and they don't want it, and there is a laziness there, and it sucks because I have seen some of the most brilliant comedy will never be seen by the masses because it's from friends of mine who just don't do it.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating. So that, honestly, that's one of the main reasons why it's not why I started this book, but it's certainly why I finished the damn book, is because I really do care about doing that, is sharing with people like, it's not hard. You can literally do all the things. You want to be a touring comedian? I can show you how to do it. It's not hard.
Yeah.
It's someone's not going to come with a big boatload of cash for you, but you can tour the country. It's not hard. You want to be on television? It's actually not that hard. You just got to, maybe you're not going to do the thing you thought you wanted to do.
And it's not going to happen as quickly.
And it's not going to happen as quickly, but you can do it. Yeah. Man, I'm on TV all the time.
Yeah.
I've done television commercials. I've done all this stuff, and it's not sexy, but can't take it away from me either,
Right.
And that's whole, so momentum beats perfection.
Well, not only that, like
just
so many of these
moving.
big names that you see in comedy, you look back and they did all these shows early on. They did all these,
and nobody
things early
handed
on.
them anything.
Nobody handed them anything.
Famous was it Kevin Hart right now is kind of giving back. We know some people who were just on his show, right? And it's like, it's his idea.
And he used to be the side guy in so many movies.
Yeah.
Like you look at his early career, he was just like the background guy, just being goofy a lot.
But
of
I
the time.
guarantee you, 90% of the things you've ever seen Kevin Hart involved with, especially if it was centrally around him, he did it.
Yeah.
Nobody came to him and said, hey, Kevin, we want to do this thing with you. No, he was like, who wants to do this thing with me? I'm going to do this thing.
A great example of that's Adam Sandler, too.
Very much so.
Like, he just made his whole career himself, and nobody else did it for him at all.
If you are lucky enough to get on television for any reason, I got on TV because I was in a band. Then I got on TV again because of acting. Then I got on TV again because of comedy. Then I got on TV again because of pro wrestling. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
But none of them were the ways I intended to get on TV.
Right.
But if you are lucky enough, SNL people are tough because they are given that opportunity. But if you can get on television, even on the slightest, that you can capitalize on, because people love to see what they've seen on the little TV box. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
I go to fan conventions and I go to signings, and it's the only reason I'm viable is because people go, oh, I've seen him on this or I've seen him on that. talk about comedy clubs in decline. There are people who are not comedians who are going to comedy club tours because they're from TV. And people just want to come and see them. That was the big argument over the social media boom in the pandemic, where all these TikTokers were now getting booked in comedy clubs over traditional stand-up.
Right.
Yeah, but they're working. You know, there's a really big, I'm not going to name drop them, but there's a really huge TikToker who has gone on to become very big. And I remember during the pandemic watching him go live on Instagram with less than 1,000 followers. He was an impersonator. He does impressions. So that's a world that I like to play in.
Uh-huh.
And I would watch him, and he was basically begging people to follow him. Like literally, he would just do a live for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and he would do impressions for people on Instagram, and he would say, "Thank you, can you go follow me on TikTok? Thank you, can you go follow me on X? Thank you, can you follow me?" And within 2 to 6 years, this dude, let's just say he was just included in the lineup of presenters for Bill Maher's award, Mark Twain Prize.
Uh-huh.
And this is a dude I just watched just build himself up and put in the work and beg and grind and hustle and sweat, and that's it. And he's out there and he's doing it. Now, you know, as all performers, we all have this. This is what he does, this is what I do. This is what he does, this is what I do. This is what she does, but this is what I do, right? So we all do that. Like, well, they're good, but I'm different, or I'm better, or they're better. Or like we have this weird, what's the word? Comparisоnism. I write books. But,
I like comparison. That's a good word. I'm going to start using that. Comparison.
Good, but it definitely made it up. But
it's good. I like it.
But yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, you just, at the end of the day, you can be competitive, and there's nothing wrong with a little healthy competition, but because it's all competitive, right? In this industry, you know, it's all competitive. Like I can be having a great conversation with the nicest person, and I know deep down, like they would stab me in the throat if it meant they got a headliner spot over me, right?
Right.
And that's the industry. And I think if we are honest about that, it's a mutual, like I said, it's a mutual respect of the game. It's like, look, as long as I know that you're going to do whatever you can do to put yourself over, to use a wrestling vernacular, I'm okay with it, as long as you also know I'm also going to try to put myself over. And as long as we can give each other the space for that, I think a lot of cool stuff can happen. And that has been my experience, where a lot of cool stuff can happen. I know everybody I meet in this business would step on me to get up on their own. And I don't blame them for that. That's why we're in this singular world.
Yeah.
Of you know, look at me. Like I you know, we take down that wall a little bit. Even just you and I today, like we're taking down the wall because we know that there's a mutual aspiration here, right?
Right.
You know, at the end of the day, as long as we can agree to that, I think we both can achieve great things. That's why I love pro wrestling, and I see the huge parallel between like pro wrestling and like comedy and improv and acting, because you got two, we'll say guys, and women do it too, and they're great, but you got two guys who agree in the world of pro wrestling. Okay, this guy is going to win, I'm going to lose. How are we going to work with each other and tell that story?
I would go as far to say it's not even just that. It is reality itself. And that's how I explain ruse. I think that everything is a ruse in a sense, and we're always role playing in the same way that reality is professional wrestling is role playing. And Rick Rubin said, I think it was on Joe Rogan when I first saw him say it, and I've seen him break it down more, but I just remember the clip. He said it to Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan had no clue what he meant, and I knew exactly what he meant. And he said that pro wrestling is probably more real than real life, or like more real than like real sports. Like it's more real than anything else. He was trying to express that wrestling's more real than anything else, and there's just something so real about it. And I think that what he's saying,
I agree,
is that it's that role-playing aspect. I think it's like, it's so interesting to me in the same way that film is interesting, right? Where I can experience something that I know is not necessarily real, but what is real? It, you know, like, I can identify with this character. I believe in this character, the face, the heel. I think the good guy is, or say like, you know, somebody like a CM Punk or a John Cena, I think, does it really well, where they both do this thing where they're really good at walking the line between
what's real
and what's not.
Yeah.
And they're also good at, if you're the casual watcher or if you're somebody who's really into it, you still get what they're saying, but you're rewarded for knowing more.
Yes.
And
I like that, yeah.
There's so many moving parts to that. And I think that it's all playing on this meta reality. And that whole thing is so strange because you still believe all of this, but you also know in your heart that it's not exactly real.
Right.
And that's everything in life, truly. Really,
we're literally watching it play out on a political scale. Like it's like,
and
okay.
you put it out you laid it out pretty well just now, because it's almost like a social contract that you're always agreeing to. You know,
it's the silent agreement that we all share with each other.
Yes,
that our parents taught us, that their parents taught them.
And sometimes you realize, oh, this person's not following the rules.
That's the Joker, right?
They're breaking kayfabe.
That's again, that's why I love Batman and that mythos, and the Joker is he is the pinnacle of the idea of the whole thing that sets him straight as a character is he just cracked the code.
Yeah.
The code is that we have this silent, invisible veil of civility.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's not real. I literally could kick you in the face right now. The only thing stopping me is I'm choosing not to. That is it. You know, and you know,
and one bad day.
Yeah, no, seriously. And Falling Down, that famous movie with Michael Douglas, if you're over 35. But like it's so, I don't think people think about that very much. And we've really been experiencing that. It's the first time, Columbine happened, when the kids shot up the school in Colorado, the first time the planes hit the Twin Towers. It was like there's this veil of civility that we all agree to, and a mass shooter is the perfect example of somebody who just goes, nope, it's not real. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And it's scary,
And it's crazy how it's like the floodgates open with just a few of those acts. It's
that's why
the veil of civility is lifted.
That's why it's so imperative that we catch these people and we punish these people as harshly as we can, because we need to tell the people, hey, it isn't real.
Yeah.
So if you all start doing this, we all fall apart.
I feel that way about political violence too.
Yes.
So I think like
Very much
people,
so.
It's just an example of that, exactly what you're describing, the social phenomena of that, because you'll see people who would never say such things now. I mean, I just will never forget.
That used to be reserved for us as comedians.
Yeah.
Like that was our job, is we would say the things you're not supposed to say in public. And
yes.
That's what gave us our power.
And it's actually the fact that you're doing it on a stage in a comedic subtext that makes it okay. That's like,
that's the social agreement, right?
Exactly.
That's why heckling is frowned upon, because we have a social agreement. If I come to a movie theater, I've got my popcorn, my drink, and I shut the fuck up.
But I think people will now just say inhumane things. Like, so yeah. I remember it was 2020, I'm hanging out with a rapper friend and we're working on some music, and I remember I look at my phone and the news was like, oh, Trump had gotten COVID. And I remember I looked and I saw that and I went, I'm not like a big Trump fan at that point in time, and I know this guy hates Trump, but like I just look at that and I see, oh, like, that's crazy. I mean,
but I got the best COVID they had. It was probably the better COVID.
The COVID I had
so much
was actually light COVID.
They were called. You know what they're calling it? They're calling it the small COVID.
Small
with a lowercase c.
It's teeny tiny COVID. Teeny tiny
Love
COVID.
It.
You could play it like a little violin, actually.
We could have a dueling Trump show. I think it's good.
Yeah, we really could. Because the thing is, that's like, I hate to whip out the Trump, just because I never really know how people have visceral reactions to Trump impressions.
Oh, the more again, and I haven't done him as much because again I was doing him early on, right?
Yeah.
Then everybody did. I mean, he's the president. Like, I think there is an automatic. You get a right to do it.
Yeah.
Well, not only am I the president, I'm the most memorable one. So
what's sad is that will go down historically accurate.
Yeah,
that will go down historically accurate. He will be one of the most memorable presidents in our era.
But what was I on about right before? we went into that. I was just saying something right before we started.
I'm sorry. I have the power of intentional ADD, so I will force others to.
But what was it? What was I saying right before that? Before we did
you were saying it was something. Trump had COVID.
Oh yeah, so he had gotten COVID, and I just remember I look and I see that, and I say to the guy, I'm like, "Oh, Trump got COVID. That's crazy." And then his first response, he just looks at me and says, "I hope he dies."
Yeah, I saw so much of that.
I was taken off guard because I am a child at heart. Like, I have only love in my soul, truly deep down. And I mean that. So when I hear someone say something like that, I'm not thinking politically. I'm not thinking anything. I just remember looking at him and saying, how could you say that about anyone? And I was so taken off guard. But the thing is, it's not, however you feel about Trump, however you feel about anything, that's just where we've been heading for a while. People are more willing to say things like that. People who
the
you
thoughts
think,
inside their head. Yeah.
People who you think are generous, kind, loving people. And maybe they don't even mean those things when they say them, but it's not that. It's the power of words and the fact that you're willing to plant that seed and say it in the first place. The fact that you're breaking the social contract of, I don't want anyone to die, and saying, fuck that guy, I hope he dies. And you know, with the healthcare CEO, that was an interesting one because that one is one that most people hate. Most people think that person is causing problems within society and there needs to be a punishment. Problem is, I don't think anyone deserves to die. I don't believe in a death penalty for anyone. And so, but you'll realize when the social contract is broken, somebody breaks the rules, that Joker comes out, shoots the guy in the head. He's a vigilante. He's a powerful figure. He's a martyr in a sense.
It's tough. I
don't think he deserves to be a martyr, but I can actually sympathize with the idea that he is.
I was definitely heartbroken with the look. I mean, again, you know, as soon as you started telling the story, I knew where you were going because I saw so much of it myself as well. Maybe even in the back of my head, I may think, oh, I hope this person dies. Right?
Yes.
I would never say it. Me personally. And I know people are like, I don't care, I'm going to say it. Well, that says a lot about you than it does about me.
Because I just don't think people realize how powerful ideas and words are.
Sure.
They don't give credit to... Sure. Like, that's why I was saying earlier, it starts with you.
Yeah.
And people don't think that.
Yeah,
they actually
much.
just put it on someone else and think what they say doesn't matter. But it's like, no, you're planning these ideas all the time. And you're perpetuating this ideology. And you don't realize it, but it's actually just... You saying, I hope he dies is just as valuable as everybody else saying, I hope he dies. And the world could change if you stop saying things like that.
And, well, it's the Chris Rock joke about O.J. Simpson and Nicole Brown Simpson. And he said, you know, I'm not saying he did it. I'm saying I understand. Right? And that's, you know, he's like, I saw, you know, she was driving around in the car he bought her and the guy she was sleeping with was driving the car. And it's like, I'm not saying he did it. But I understand, right?
That's a great joke. That's a fantastic joke.
But here's the point. Here's the point. You know, my heart broke with the Luigi Mangione thing where he killed that guy. It's like, I understand that level of anger with the system.
Me too.
I have that same level of anger. We all have that level of anger with the system. But we also know the reason why we're angry is because we're not supposed to do what he did. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would love it if these guys got their comeuppance, but their comeuppance would be take their money away.
Yeah.
Take their power away. If you kill them, first of all, the individual you kill, they're gone. Instantly, they're gone, meaning they don't suffer for what they've put others through. So, like, I'm not a big capital punishment guy. Like, I don't think we should be killing people, you know? Child rapists or something, sure. I understand that, you know, was it Florida is now putting things where they're going to kill them. It's like, okay, that's fine. How about, like, we can get serious about, like, other forms of punishment that are rough. You know, if you want to make someone suffer, again, at the end of the day, you know, me talking about being a Christian, I got to talk about forgiveness, right? So that's an even harder line for me to walk. At the end of the day, I'm not going to rape any children, and that's the agreement. I'm not going to kill any people. I'm not going to steal from people. I'm not going to, cheat on my wife. I'm not going to do all these things that we automatically know you're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's the agreement. I won't do those things. How about you don't do those things either? How hard is that?
And I think people don't believe in rehabilitation and forgiveness too.
Well, it's not that I don't believe in rehabilitation, but what we say we have as rehabilitation is not rehabilitation.
Right.
The prison system is trash.
Well, that's just punishment.
It's
not focused on rehabilitation. It's focused on
we don't want to deal with you in our society openly, so we're going to put you over here in a corner.
They'll even make them slaves. They'll even go as far to make them do slave labor.
Yeah, we just don't want to deal with you anymore.
Yeah.
That's literally all that is. Look, my father suffers from schizoaffective disorder. He's schizophrenic. He is not good out in public on his own. He needs medication. He is in an institution. There was a time where he was out on his own a few years back because our system is so broken and corrupt that it was possible for him to leave and go off on his own and get housing. And because we have got these weird government programs that say that they're out for his best interest, but really they just want his Social Security money, and they take it and they put him in these different situations where he gets himself into more danger.
Yeah.
And just to preface this with, he's back in the institution now, he's safe. But at the end of the day, when I go visit him in this institution is filled with people that society just goes, no, we don't want to deal with you. We don't want to try to understand. We don't want to try to help. You go in there.
Which I think is interesting because you would imagine, based on what people say, that mental illness and mental health is so important. But I think what tends to happen is real mental illness is ugly.
It's ugly.
People don't know how to respond to it.
And there is no real fixing it.
No.
And that's the sad fact. I love my father. If I could, I would let him live with me. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not equipped. I'm not a psychiatrist. I am not equipped to handle the level of care in which he needs. I'm just not.
Right.
And it's sad because I love my father, but he is in a situation where, and it's not his fault, and to hear him discuss it when he's medicated and clear and sober and can talk, his sadness over the fact that he knows that something's wrong with himself and he can't do anything about it. Like, that's hard, but that's our society. But again, I find society fascinating. I mean, the older I get, the more experiences I've gotten and the things I've seen in the world around me. And
fascinating how? Like, in what way? What is so fascinating about it?
Well, again, it's that silent social agreement that we all have, and it's just interesting to watch that at play.
Yeah.
I have.
Well, I think if you're really paying attention, you see those things.
Yeah, I have a bit in my act. I talk about how my daughter, I have a stepdaughter who is almost 30 now, but I met her when she was 4. And I remember we had gone to this McDonald's that we frequented by our house, and the lady behind the counter said, I've been watching you and your daughter, and the way you talk to her just like an adult. You don't talk to her like a child. And I said, yeah. And I quickly realized I come to this McDonald's way too fucking much. But
that woman should not know that.
Right? And what's funny is my daughter made a comment to me. We were going through like a Starbucks drive-thru, and I was doing my usual pleasantries. And she goes, you talk to everybody.
Yeah.
I go, what do you mean? She's like, you are nice to everybody. And I'm like, yeah, because I like the social agreement. I like that agreement that, going through my town and tipping my hat at the mayor as he walks by. Like I love that theatric that we play of society, that civilian behavior.
The Truman Show, howdy neighbor.
Yes, I love that. And it makes me sad when people break from that. Yeah. So like if I go to a gas station and I walk up and I go, hey, $20 on pump 7, please. Uh-huh. It's like, oh, come on. Like, let's do the dance. Mm-hmm. So anybody who says, hey, good morning, how you doing? I go, I'm absolutely fabulous. Thank you for asking. How are you today? I literally say that phrase everywhere. And I heard someone else say that, and I loved that. And I was like, I want to be like that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I love that you mentioned Truman Show, because I've only seen that movie once when it came out, and that is exactly what it is. And what was the point of that movie? The point of that movie was you don't have to lock them in.
Yeah.
They don't want to get out. They really don't want to get out. You know what I mean? Except the crazy people who shoot CEOs of healthcare companies. But like, I don't want to get out. I want us to enjoy each other's company. I want us to share time and stories and educate each other on who we are. I love that. That's why I'm an entertainer. That's why I am who I am. It's because I love to observe that and then share my opinion of that observation. And
Rick Rubin again, like one thing I really like, one of the things he said is that, again, how I said earlier about you don't have any ideas, you don't create anything. Like he thinks ideas, literally, like sometimes you'll have an idea and you don't actually put it into the world. 6 months later, you'll see someone else execute upon that. And it's because it wasn't your idea. Yeah. It was just in the air. It was just something in the air. And
Michael
I think
Jackson was saying that. Whereas
he said that too?
He said... He said, if I don't get in the studio with this idea that God's giving me right now, he's going to give it to Prince.
Wow.
Or somebody else. Yeah. Or somebody else. He really believed that those ideas are just out there and you've got to grab them. And there might, I can't, who am I to say that that's not real? I don't know. It's very well could
and
be.
It goes, with this whole being open to the culture and seeing it as it is. Like, I think that if you... Like, sometimes I even think success and all these things, like, they happen because they're supposed to. They happen because you came at the right time and you did the right thing.
Sure.
And you don't compare your success to anyone else's. It's just like you haven't caught that idea yet. You might think that you've done all this excellent work and you deserve all the success, but just look at the reality of it. Just something's not lining up. There's your work here and there's society and reality here, and for some reason it's just not clicking the way it is you think it's supposed to be in your head. But if you just keep at it, one day you'll catch that right idea, and one day, and it's not even just that one day, it's doing it over and over again and learning to catch those ideas and learning to ride that wave. I just think like so much of art really is that. It's just learning to find the flow of life and kind of live with it, and because that's where those moments come from. That's where that pureness comes from, and that's where you find things.
And one of the things I mentioned in my book,
oh yeah, tell me about it. On page 72
is the talent is very minuscule part of that equation.
Yeah. That's something I wanted to say earlier too. I actually think what we were talking about with like how there's so these talented people who don't know how to put themselves out there. That's why mediocrity is so big.
Yeah.
Because it's not about the talent. It's about putting yourself out there and knowing how to get people to understand what you are.
Yeah.
That is like 90% of the equation, and talent's just 10% of it. Like your talent's actually probably not even a factor, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Well, the first time I ever recognized it, and when we talk about it, is I was auditioning for a role in Sister Act 2.
Okay.
And I was 15, I think. And I went out for the audition, and I go into greater detail in the book, but it was the first time in my life where I knew I was talented as a singer and a performer. It was the first time I was in a room with 800 amazing singers and performers. And I went, oh, I'm not as special as I thought I was, right? Like that, holy cow, right? And they didn't even book anyone from Chicago. They ended up booking somebody from LA because of somebody who knew somebody or whatever. I'm not bitter. Can you tell? But
no one in that room.
But no one in that room, and it's fascinating to me. So that was the first time I recognized, oh yeah, yes, I'm talented. I can admit I am a talented person. There's a lot of talented people in this world. LA is overflowing with talent. Nashville is overflowing with musicians, right? Talent isn't the issue. It's not, can you sing, can you dance, can you act? It's, are you somebody we can market? Are you somebody that can do the work that comes alongside of all that? Famously actors say, they work for months and months to do 5 minutes of work on screen.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. And so that, I think, one of two things is happening. Either people are simply just not aware of the level of work that is required to get to that point, or they are aware and they just don't want to do it. And that's it. I mean, that's the only two situations. You either don't know what it takes, or you do know and you're just not willing to do it.
I think it's probably the former. I think most of the time they just don't know.
Yeah.
I think so, because I think people are unrealistic.
Yeah. That's why they need someone to tell them how to do the work, right?
Go Book Yourself is the name of your book. So that's a great name.
Thank you.
It's like a triple entendre.
Right? I was only thinking of the two, but you are right. There's probably 3 or maybe even 4.
I think it's a triple because it's like Go Book Yourself, as in, it's definitely, I'll explain to you right now. So
no, please, I like it. I love it.
I'm a rapper. This is how my brain literally works. So go book yourself, as in the literal interpretation. You should go book yourself, like go do it yourself, kind of like as we've been talking about. Then it's like go fuck yourself.
Very much so.
But it's a joke, like go book yourself instead. But then also it's a book. So it literally, like, it's a book called Go Book Yourself, as in like read this book. Go book yourself and read this.
Yeah, and the fact that I actually wrote it in itself.
So you booked yourself.
I booked myself, right?
For.
And what's funny is right when I started, I only let a few people know that I was writing it. And one of the questions I was constantly being asked with it was,
pop the door for him.
You're good. Oscar wants to join the show.
Yeah. He just wanted to take my spot is what he wanted. All right, anyway, continue.
No, it's good. One of the most common question I was getting from people is, who are you going to have publish it? And the interesting thing about that is I was in contact with 3 different publishers, and they were all starting what I thought was the right thing, was a slight bidding war on the project, which I thought was great. Now, we're not talking huge dollars. I mean, I'm a nobody, right? But it got to a point where, and this is where my wife really got me good. She goes, "What's the point of your book again?" Well, just to help people get to, the level that I've gotten to and maybe surpass that. She's like, so you want people to get off their asses and do it themselves, and you're talking to publishers? I was like, oh yeah. So I self-published the book. Didn't have to, but I realized I'd be the biggest fucking hypocrite if I didn't put this book out by myself and show the world, hey, this is how you do it. I will say I published it through my production company, so it still has a little more credibility, but it's still my production company. So it's like, yeah, but it's one of those things where, yeah, you gotta live what you preach. Otherwise, it's just a money making thing. Sure it is, but
how was it a hard process to publish it yourself? How did you do that?
So it wasn't super hard. It was more technically hard. Like I went through the Amazon publishing aspect, the Kindle publishing thing. And the only thing that was hard was learning the technical requirements. I wrote it in a certain format, found out that wasn't the format they wanted. So I had to basically redo the format. I mean, it was all written. I just had to copy and paste chapters and stuff over into the correct format. This wasn't the size I thought I was writing in. I thought I was writing in 5/8. This is 7/10. So I had to change the artwork on the cover and everything. Like it was like I would hit an obstacle and hurdle over it. And what was funny is I probably should have written about that before I completed it. But maybe
that can be in the second edition,
the hardcover edition,
the forward.
Exactly,
the forward.
Exactly. But yeah. So I went through Amazon's program, and it's a great program to do. And it comes out August 15th, and you could already pre-order it on Kindle, but if you want the paperback, which I think you should because it's cool to have it physical. I'm a big physical media guy, especially now that Sony said they're screwing everybody over. But
it's not just Sony. I think it's going to be everything. I think Microsoft's going to do the same thing.
They're going to try. They're going to try.
I don't think it's going to work.
I don't think it's going to work either. I think, honestly, my honest to God take is I think it's the Coke 2 thing. That's, again, another Gen X representation. But
I forgot about that, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think that's what Sony's trying to do. I think they're doing we're going to do this, and then in a couple of months, especially after Grand Theft Auto comes out, they're going to be like, okay, we heard you. We're not going to do it. And it's like, you were never going to do it. You couldn't do it. You were just doing a market research, and you got the information you wanted, and you're just going to...
You think so?
I do.
Because they already did the discless consoles, and that's been working out.
Yeah, but I still bought the one with the disc.
Yeah, well, I saw someone say, like, I wonder what the difference is if you look at the sales between the disc ones and the non-disc ones. Because I do wonder. You might be right.
It's all market research. I mean, here's the other thing.
Rockstar's trying to do the same thing. GTA 6. They're trying to do that. I think if it's market research, it starts with them. They were the first ones to say it, and then after that, Sony says it.
Well, I will go so far as to say that I understand why Sony's behaving the way it is, because Sony is the reason why Blu-ray survived over the HD disc, because there was a battle when high definition TVs came out.
Yep, PS3.
Sony made the decision that they were going to go with Blu-ray with the PS3. It was Sony and Disney. Once Disney and Sony said they were going to exclusively work with Blu-ray, HD disc, gone. It's the beta VHS in the 70s and 80s. It's laser disc versus DVDs. You know, it's once a major commercial distributor makes a choice, that's it. And I'm glad. I refused to buy anything on HD or Blu-ray until I knew what it was going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, and I thought, and so here's the thing: HD was the better technology. Betamax was a better technology than VHS, but whatever the market dictated, that's what it was. In fact, I think it was Sony who picked VHS as well. So that's why I think Sony was trying to do this we're getting rid of the discs thing. But yeah, the fact that they're also killing the digital cloud, it's like, well, now you're showing why you can't make that move.
It's just going to make people want to steal everything. That's what's going to happen. Is everybody's going to start saying, like, if we can't own things, we're just going to steal it.
That goes back to the political stuff, right? I mean, and you asked me why I, identified with certain parties over the other. At the end of the day, I don't agree with banning anything.
Yeah.
I don't agree with banning anything. I mean, murder should be illegal. That's fine. But banning anything has never stopped it from existing, and only criminalizes the act of acquiring it.
Well, I think even copyright laws are outdated in the age of the internet. Like, they shouldn't even exist. And it's actually good for your business for people to be sharing your thing. Like, you're out of your mind if you do a copyright strike on a song, but it's just that all these companies know to do is try to make money. And so they don't even realize that it's counterintuitive. And I mean, like, it's crazy with copyright strikes. I mean, I don't know if you know how far they go on YouTube. You could say you could hum a Disney song and get a copyright strike.
It's ridiculous.
And it's just pointless because you're basically getting free promo and you're not even accepting it because why? Because why? Like, what's the point of it? And to make more money? It doesn't even make sense. You'll make more money if you do accept it and you let people do it. People will be gravitating more towards whatever that art is 100%. That you have.
I think there's a fine line because as a creator, I do agree with some copyrights, but I think it needs to go back to its initial point of literal copying. Right?
Yeah. Like stealing a melody or something.
Well, even that I have issue with. Like,
yeah, because it's gray areas.
If you literally lift the recording and sample it, like, that's when it made sense. Like, okay, like, well, if you didn't get permission from the artist to take their actual voice and their stuff, like, that's different. But if you're doing a melody, it's like, look, everybody's allowed to go out and make something. There's only 13 notes.
Yeah.
There's only 13 physical notes that can be played. So there's only so many combinations of how those notes can be played, period. So I think that gets a little wishy-washy. And also, not everybody gets sued for lifting a melody. It's just if it's financially viable or not, right? But where it becomes problematic is, like you said, if you hum a Disney tune. So when I was doing podcasting, I was doing a lot of TV fan casts. I still do. I have a network of podcasts. And one of the things we did was we did fan follow-ups of shows, right? So all these TV shows that were coming on every week, we would have a show dedicated to that type show. And I got hit by Disney because they own ABC, and they hit me with a cease and desist because one time, I don't know why, but one time I basically used their artwork for something. And they were like, look, we love you. We appreciate you, everything you've been doing for us. Because they get it, but they were like, but you can't just take the artwork that we paid someone to make, And I was like, okay. And that was a hurdle, but I changed my whole platform. And I was like, okay, now all of our artwork is going to be original. We'll do it ourselves, And then they were like, that's cool. Just make up something your own, So that's fine. Okay. So like that, I'm okay with that, But it's when, it's when it gets ridiculous, especially with copyright stuff. Like you said, if you hum a Disney song and you get hit, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Or just give them the cut. Like, if you want to give them 3%, then give them 3%. Whatever, it's silly.
And it's random. Like, I think on YouTube, you can use most songs in those shorts, but as soon as you go over a minute, there's a bunch of songs you just can't use. They'll copyright strike your thing. And it's no other platform does it. It's just YouTube. And it's if you go over a minute, all of a sudden you can't use just like, I think fucking Runaway by Kanye. That was one of the songs, like, and I don't even edit the clip. So the guy will edit the clip for me. Says, no, I'm going to message him, say, hey, take the audio out the clip. It's just a whole annoying process. And why is it a process? Because they have this random ass rule about this one song.
Well, you've got to dig into, if you're interested, you just dig into what it is. Well, what is YouTube? YouTube is owned by Google.
Yeah. Which wasn't the case until the last 10 years or so.
And that's when it started becoming a problem. And then you've got, well, who's going after who? No one's going after you. Yeah. You don't make enough money to be worth going after. But they'll go after Google and go, hey, you've got X amount of people on your platform doing this. So Google is terrified of getting sued by Sony and Capital and RCA and all these companies. And it's dumb.
I mean, I think that's really why the dislikes got taken out too, honestly. I think that YouTube is beholden to these people, or Google is. Yeah. And so what happened was these advertisers also advertised on all these news networks and these late night shows. And guess what happens on the like to dislike ratio on all those videos?
Yeah. It's all money.
It looks terrible. Every time you open one of those videos, they're just disliked. It's like 90% dislikes. And that doesn't look good. So what do you do if you're YouTube? You get rid of the dislikes. You just make it so nobody can see them anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm almost positive that's why it happened. Like, I don't know.
I think you're absolutely right.
I don't think there's any other practical reason why you would do something like that.
No major corporation
They said it was
does
because
anything
they wanted to reduce hate on YouTube. They wanted less hate on YouTube.
Translation, we want to be able to make more money.
Yeah.
That's all.
It boggles my mind because it's so not user friendly, and YouTube was the only one that had a like to dislike thing, and that was really nice because it, like, you know, there's like these fake trailer videos, there's bad tech videos, there's bad advice videos, there's a million types of videos that are out there that you would want to see the like to dislike. Even if there's like a creator who does great all of a sudden, and then Logan Paul all of a sudden goes in the suicide forest, maybe we need to see the dislike ratio on a video. He turned out
pretty okay.
He actually did okay.
He did okay.
But you know, I actually
touch and go for a moment.
Not only do I think it reduces the, like, you know, amount of people, because obviously you can still dislike, so it doesn't reduce, like, because they'll say, oh, you can still dislike a video, you can still like a video. But the problem is, I think it actually makes it so people don't even click the buttons anymore. People don't even think it matters.
I don't,
because why would I hit dislike if no one's going to see it? Yeah, other than it's basically me flipping off the creator personally, so only they know.
Well, you know,
it just is pointless.
It's interesting you say that too, because that is absolutely what's happening. And I would say this to anybody, especially in the entertainment field, pay very little attention to the likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
Because, and I heard this from a good friend of mine who works in radio for decades, and he said, the kind of people who take time out of their day to send you a letter or now an email or a social media post, good or bad, they're fucking crazy. They are. Seriously. Think about if you're willing to look at your own life and go, how many times you've commented on a celebrity's thing or a politician's thing. You think they even see it?
Yeah.
Why are you saying anything? You're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I want this person to know what I think. You know how they know? You buy their shit. Or you don't buy their shit.
Or you create something where you can say those things in a more in a better way.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've learned if I'm going to express myself on social media at all, like I'm going to really express myself, I'm just going to put my thought out there, and really it's not even up to me to respond to other people. Like for example, because I used to do this more. I used to argue with people on Facebook. I used to be one of these people who would argue on Facebook.
I was worse. I would set a bomb and then walk away. During the pandemic, I got real bored. And because I was so counter mainstream with my politics, I would say something. I would wake up on a Monday and go, let's piss off the liberals. And then Tuesday I go, let's piss off the conservatives.
Well,
and just
I'm
watch.
pretty sure.
And I hated myself for doing it because I shouldn't have been that person.
I
don't do it anymore.
I'm always tempted to, and it's still in me, but I've learned don't respond. Like, just say what you want to say, set the bomb. I think you were right in the sense of set the bomb and walk away. Because the problem is I'd stand next to the bomb and defend the bomb. So like what I would do, I'm almost positive this is a good example.
I would turn off notifications so I wouldn't even see what they were doing. And that felt jokery.
That's what I do now.
Yeah,
but I didn't used to do that.
That felt jokery to me though, because I knew I was just going to make people angry with each other.
I think you were right. Because this is the thing, okay?
It's maybe my issue is just knowing that I had a responsibility there and I chose to do it. But
I just think that social media is designed, like we were talking before we started, like it's not exactly a real format to engage with one another. It's actually not that.
Yeah. It's, like Chappelle says, it's not a real fucking place.
Yeah, and we're all pretending it's that. So we're all pretending we're actually going to engage with each other and talk with each other, but we're not. We just want to actually say what we think, and you can say what you think, and we're just going to kind of talk at each other. Mm-hmm. And that happens in real life, but nowhere near the level it happens on social media. So there's really no point in going out there and standing on your political soapbox unless you just want to make a statement and leave. Because I think if you make a statement and leave, okay, then you just said what you want to say. But now you're trying to, like, you don't need to defend yourself to any of this, unless it's somebody you're close with. But even in that case, you don't have to argue with them in a comment section. You can just message them. It actually doesn't have to be public.
100%.
And that's the weird thing is, like, all these things become public. And, like, so I'm pretty sure right after January 6th happened, one of my first thing, because I woke up the next day and I saw it. And I remember my first thought was, oh my God, like, this is like the floodgates of a revolution opening. Like, this is how revolution happens, is this is what happens.
Well, one major point was missing is they didn't have guns.
And they didn't have guns. But yeah, which
I mean that's what what they wanted it to be, but they didn't arm themselves. Well, I'm sorry, you're not going to accomplish what you think you're accomplishing because you're not doing it the way that the founding fathers told you to do it.
Yes.
Period.
Yes, but my first thought was even beyond it just being revolutionary. It was that, this is how, if you were a government, you would take advantage of people who want to cause a revolution. Mm-hmm. This is how you would take advantage of people who feel taken advantage of.
Theater. I felt that.
And you make them out to be the bad guy.
I felt that. I felt like it was a theatrical performance.
And I think that that's kind of been the MO against Trump. It's like not even whether Trump's right or wrong, but the move has always been he is anti-establishment, so what we need to do is make him the devil. And it reminds me of the book Fahrenheit 451 when he meets the bad guy, and he's talking to the bad guy. The bad guy's nothing like what he thought he would be. And he has all these books. He has this giant library, and there's this book.
That's what people famously say after they've spent time with him.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because people always say the guy's super personable, and he's actually super relatable. I mean, like the whole Bill Maher thing when Bill Maher hung out with him, and it's there's a charisma there, and I think that in Fahrenheit 451 it's such a perfect example because you burn the books, you burn the memory of the guy, and you call him something else, and he's anything you want him to be. And I think that is immediate. Like all of that was so clear to me the day that happened, and so I think the first thing I posted was, if you don't see this as a psyop, like you're just like something like that. Like you should see this as, if you can't see this as a psyop, you're missing it.
They can't.
And
that's why we keep living in the cycles that we're living in, is because the majority isn't seeing. Well,
but my point is that Facebook was not the place for me to say that, because what happens? People respond to me and they just say, "You're crazy. You're a conspiracy theorist.
You're pro this or anti that.
You're pro Trump. You're pro January 6th. You're an insurrectionist." Whatever.
That goes back to they finish the story of what they think you're saying,
and that's why I asked you earlier, what is more real, what I said and my intention, or what their interpretation is of what I said? Because it's kind of both. Like that's why it's a dangerous game you're playing when you do those things, and that's why something like this is a better platform to talk about something, because I can say whatever I want, I can go on about it, or I just post it, I leave it alone. Because what am I doing when I'm arguing with you about it on social media? We're not getting through to each other.
Well, and it gives us the opportunity to go, well, what do you mean?
Yeah. And I think, like, in person, people are just more willing to, they're more personable. They're more willing to be open. And like, that's the only way you're going to get people there. Like, if you really believe that this is people being taken advantage of, you really believe that this is a psyop and there really is a government taking advantage of people who really they have the best intentions. They just want a better country. And those people are being taken advantage of. and you don't believe people should be fighting against one another, then you need to take actions that bring people together and make people not fight with each other.
No, I like that. I like that a lot.
That is way easier said than done.
And that's inspiring because you're pointing a mirror at me, and because I feel that way.
Yeah.
And I get angry and frustrated with that because I do see the psyop.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly trying to voice things and try to show the light to people. But you're right. I think it just start doing. Physical action, momentum beats perfection.
And I think you'd be surprised how many people feel the way you feel when you start sharing that thing
learning
with love. Like when you share it with the intention of love and the intention of bringing people together, you'd be surprised how many people, I think people are just lost and they don't hear that message. They just hear people going at each other and they don't hear a message of unity, you know?
Well, and I am honestly learning that right now. Over the last probably year, 2 years now, I've really started to come to that realization that, we really do agree on a lot more than we disagree on. And that's a beautiful cliche, but no, it's real.
Oh, it's 100%
1,000% real.
Yeah.
And what I'm recognizing now is that when I look at the arc of, we'll just say the Trump process, right? Because when Obama was president, you had the Tea Party, and that was a fringe split off of the conservatives that were very pro-constitutional, and that party kind of morphed into MAGA, and Trump saw that and said, I can co-opt that, and I can use that.
Yeah.
The problem is he, like any politician, or anybody vying, I wouldn't even say politician, anybody vying for a position of authority or power, will tell these people, I hear you, I know what you want, and I will tell you, I will give you what you want. And we are literally living the example of somebody who has just lied to all of those people and said, I will give you all of these things. And now he is not only not giving them those things, he's actively working for other things that are just self-serving.
Yeah.
And I'm watching, and people are freaking out about the... we'll get real heavy now, right? People are freaking about like the democratic socialist movement, that it is basically the equivalency of the Tea Party and the left.
Yeah.
And they're building that up, and people are freaking out on the right about, they're... Two things. One, I'm not worried, because even if they do gain a position of authority, they're going to exemplify the exact same thing we just witnessed here, is they are going to promise their people all of these things they're going to do for them, and then when they get into the position of power, they're just going to self-serve.
Yeah.
And that's what it's always going to be. So I'm not scared of I wasn't scared of MAGA. I'm not scared of democratic socialism. I'm not scared of any of this stuff, because at the end of the day, we have always been a capitalist nation. We will not cease to be a capitalist nation. And even countries that are communist or socialist or any other type of authoritarian government is all capitalism. It's just whether or not it's the criminals doing it, or the elites doing it, or the oligarchs doing it, or the mobsters doing it. If supply and demand will always exist.
Money is the root of all evil.
Money, well, yeah, the love of money is
the love of money. And I think, like, more often than not, you go to whatever the problem is and you think deeper about it. Well, where does this all start? It usually is money. It's usually like capital interests and keeping money flowing.
The haves and have-nots.
War, medicine.
And you brought up something earlier about how demonizing what they're afraid of. Try to tell people on social media that we actually agree on things.
Yeah.
This is my favorite. If you're one of those both sides people, then you're just a piece of shit.
You're a fence sitter.
You need me to be a piece of shit, because that's the truth, is that both sides are terrible. And so if you can convince me and others, or at least yourself, that, both sides are bad is a bad argument, well, then you feel better about the fact that you're still choosing one side over another. And that's the fucking problem.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is that is what's being demonized now, is an open, almost social mentality is being demonized by both parties. Right now it's being demonized by the left because they're in the position of acquiring, right? The Republicans are on the side of we now sit at the top. So they don't have any high ground right now because they're not pursuing anymore. It's the same argument you'll always get is, if we talked about abortion before. If you really gave a shit about abortion, which I'm sorry you fucking don't, but if you really gave a shit about abortion at that level, you would have done something about it.
Yeah.
It's not in our Constitution. The only amendment we've had in my lifetime was back in the 90s when Congress gave themselves a pay raise. That's the only amendment to the Constitution. Before that, it was over 100 years since we amended the Constitution. We should be doing it every 30 years.
Yeah.
We should be rewriting the Constitution every 30 years. That's what the founders wanted. You know, every generation should sit down and have a constitutional convention. And they should do that every generation. But we don't.
I think that the mythos of America shifted post World War I. I think that up to World War I, America had been following what the founding fathers had intended, in the sense that we were supposed to be an independent nation apart from these other world interests. Mm-hmm. And what you see around World War I is this integration into the global interests. I mean, what's the organization? NWO, not NWO. That's New World Order.
For life.
Yeah, it's Hulk Hogan. But you know, WHO, World Health Organization, all these things, where that all starts with World War I and us becoming a global power. Before that, we were doing the thing of being the independent nation.
The turn of the 20th century was definitely a major shift economically, with world banking, with military. Yeah, I agree.
And it's interesting to think, like, you know, was it inevitable? Was it not? And I think that the idea of America has never been the same, because it's kind of by name only, in the sense that, like, that's not actually how it works a lot of the time. The way the Constitution lays it out, and that it's about independence first, it's about us first. It's clearly not. Like, the way that America operates actually is not America first at all. No. And so I think it just creates this, because I think deep down people are proud to be American. They do want freedom, and we are the great experiment. Yeah. But that's the problem. We're the great experiment, and we're only 300 years into the experiment, and we're fucking it up.
What breaks my heart is hearing Americans talk about how much they hate the country.
Me too.
That part makes me sad.
I think they don't understand how good we still have it.
I can hate my government and still love my country.
Yeah.
I can hate the way, and hating the government, by the way, is very 1776. Okay. I mean, I can hate the way our government functions and still very much have pride in who we are and what we represent and all of that. And I am like we mentioned the Bryan Cranston post yesterday on the 4th of July. I am very inspired by, you know who inspires me the most? Immigrants.
Yeah.
The people who are like, what the fuck are you people so upset about? You were born here. We came here. We love this fucking place.
Mm-hmm. I mean, North Korean immigrants will be the craziest ones of all. They'll tell you guys have no idea what you're talking about.
Dying to get here, right? But like literally, like, yeah, I mean, it's and it's perspective. I have a lot of immigrant friends who, British people, those are the ones that really get me happy. It's like, you know, right? It's your fault. No, but like the British people, the Australian people, the German people, I have like Macedonian friends who are like, hey, we came to this country, we came here, we started our own business, and like it's so, and I hear that and I go, oh yeah. Yeah, I fucking love this place.
Yeah.
This is a good place.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get things wrong, but we've always got things wrong. That's the whole point. I mean,
I just hope the scales can be tipped back into the favor of the average American. Because I think that's where a lot of that pride gets lost.
We collectively are becoming aware now that is what we want. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, honestly,
but who has the power, though?
Well, we do. It's how we do the voting. But we look, I don't blame MAGA for electing Donald Trump, because Donald Trump identified what the problems in our country were.
Yeah.
And he said to them, I will fix this for you. Mm-hmm. The problem is he wasn't the guy to fix it. Mm-hmm. The problems are still very real. The things that people were angry about are now people on the left are also angry about.
Yeah.
So the problems are still here. We all actually agree we don't like this thing. We tried it one way, it didn't work. We tried it with Trump, it still didn't work. That's why we're shifting, right?
And I think if anything, like Joe Biden is just another example of, like, it's not who's in office. It's not even actually who's in office. Like, that's a glaring example.
Yeah.
Because he's clearly not the one making all these choices. You can't even make the argument that he is.
Thank God for the separation of powers, because we are literally experiencing it.
Yeah.
We are literally experiencing it. Where the problems are when you've got a president who without Congress, takes us into a foreign war, a war that he promised his people he would not only not do, but specifically that country.
Yeah.
Like, hello.
I want peace.
Peace in the Middle East. And then you've got a Congress whose job it is to say no, but they won't.
Yeah.
Because there's too much money to be made, and they're doing that. So now, thank God for that third level where the Supreme Court just handed out like 6 different rulings and just said, and this is the thing. Again, it's very, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. I don't want it to be monarchical, right? No kings, right? But we still have this weird system.
That's a good comparison.
Right? But the Supreme Court, I feel, has one simple fucking job. Is it or is it not? They do not make laws in the Supreme Court. They just tell you yes or no. Is it constitutional or is it not? And that has been their rule. And you don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. But did they do their job?
Yeah.
And the answer has statistically been fucking yeah. And so I was very anxious to see what was going to happen with, because remember, Trump is stacking the Supreme Court. Yeah, but don't forget, that position is actually more powerful than the presidency.
Yeah.
Because you're not elected into your Supreme Court bench. You are appointed, and you're there for life. So everyone that Trump put on there, if we're all ultimately selfish, Amy Coney Barrett, Kavanaugh, in the back of their heads, they're going, hey, thanks, Donald, but once I'm in that spot, I trump you. Because when he's done and gone, they can dictate. And I think he was hoping that by putting these people in that they would do what he wanted. But again, I don't think he realized he shouldn't have been president. He should have been trying to become a Supreme Court justice.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that has more authority. It's not ultimate authority, but it's just a simple authority. And I will say this, he hasn't done it. He hasn't done he hasn't gone full dictator, right?
No.
Because he seems to, and this shows me a lot, is that he is still somewhat insecure. He's still a little bitch. Because when the Supreme Court says no, he's like, well, fuck. And then he stops because he knows he can only he's a con man, right?
Yeah.
I get a kick out of him as a character, but he's a con man. And that's all he has ever been. So he knows how far he can go. And then when he gets stopped, he fucking moves on to what else? What else can I do now?
I think that's always been the most fascinating part, is the con man aspect. Because not only does he con people one-on-one, he cons an entire country of people.
He's conned the world.
Yeah. And
he won, though. I mean,
and he's so good at it.
If the goal of being, like we talked about, the goal of an actor is to be somebody else, the goal of a con artist is to get away with it.
Yeah.
He won.
I think the interesting thing about Trump, whenever I do a Trump impression, what I try to do is, I think what he's good at walking the line, and he's good at saying something that's just provocative enough.
He's the cult of personality.
I read this book. It was about creationism, and really, I think God is a beautiful thing. I think if you don't believe in God, I think you'd learn a lot from him if you thought about it and you read the book I read. It's called The Bible. But believe me, I love my non-Christians. I don't mind if you're a Muslim. That's cool too. I mean, I love Jesus, but I really love everyone. It's like,
Mr. President, name me one verse that you fucking read in that book.
Well, the book is a great book, and it's a lot that you're asking of me to do that. I can think of a lot of passages, a lot of things that...
But can you tell me one thing from The Art of the Deal?
Yes, in chapter 3.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what it is. I mean, we could go on for hours talking about this stuff, but it's just, but that's my job.
I mean, we even got on it because it's fascinating. I think that it's fascinating if you can have sort of an outsider perspective and not get so emotionally involved and just think about it objectively. I think about, especially comedians, right? It's a comedy.
It's our job.
The world we live in is comedic. Yeah. We live in a comedy world.
Yes.
And look at it that way, and it's fun. Stop thinking about this so seriously. This is just a joke. And one day you're going to die, and that's okay. Stop worrying about it.
There's the line between normal civilian and the Joker. It's comedian.
Yes.
It's our, and I think that's a valid responsibility. We have a responsibility to be like, hey, it's broken. The system is broken. You see how it's broken, right?
Yeah.
Now let's all agree to go home and not be a part of the broken.
Mm-hmm.
That's the job. We're almost like doctors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're psychiatrists.
But I think that it's a tough thing to, because I mean, like, especially with comedy, now you have this world where, because of these ideas, you have people who try to just say the thing they're not supposed to say. And I think that they're missing the point too, right? Like, you'll have people go out and they're just trying to be offensive.
Oh,
and
you mean
I think
like everybody on Kill Tony?
it's just the Austin comedy scene. That's kind of been what the Austin comedy scene has become. It's what it's become known for.
Yeah.
And for better or worse, right? Because in a sense, you do want people that are these comedians going out there and saying, pointing at these issues in society and pointing at these things and saying, look, we can't talk about this. Look, we can't say this. Why is this a problem? But that needs to be inspired. And if it's not inspired and you're going out there and you're just saying the taboo thing without any inspiration, now there's no public consciousness being raised. Now it's just you kind of being an asshole.
Yeah, I would go further and say two things. One, I feel like it's temporary.
You think so? It's a wave?
Yeah, I think it's a wave, and I think it will end, but it's a necessary wave. And I'll be the first to be like, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't consume it. I tried a couple of times. I've had friends who've gone on.
I find it to be a little exexhausting.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
it's the if you're in the dance club, you hear 10 different songs, but it's the same.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
It's like if you go to an open mic and the theme of the night is rape. It's like, okay, is this?
It's usually what happens, but or the N-word, whatever. But I think it's a necessary evil of pushing the boundaries of free speech, because when something important needs to be discussed, we do still have the freedom and the framework to do that.
And that's why that inspiration and that intention is so important to me, because I think the greatest, and they're rare, and that's why you need to look out for them. That's why they need to find their place in this world and shine, because I think society needs them more than ever right now, is these people who have love and well intent and actual care for the other side and actual care for the, like, I think Mark Normand is excellent at walking the line with dark comedy and like dark subjects, and he's so good at it that, you know, he does that thing where for social media he'll just have people shout stuff out for crowd work, and it's often like
it's like
dark subjects.
It's like the Jimmy Carr thing.
Yeah, just like Jimmy Carr. Yeah. Jimmy Carr's really good at it too. Where he can just pull it out of his ass, even just out of nowhere.
You can tell he, and it might be just his European sensibility, but his sarcasm is in such a fashion that you can also tell that he has heart.
Exactly, and that's my whole point.
He loves people, and he wants the better.
I think that like what's under the words, like what's beyond it, is really what's speaking to people, you know. And I think everybody wants that and feels that, and we do want to get along, but we don't have. It takes, I mean, great art to, I think, really get people there. I was talking to somebody about this just yesterday, where it's like, what's so great about art is, or great comedy or great anything, is you and I could be totally different people and we can disagree on all sorts of things, but we could watch a piece of art and still appreciate it equally, and maybe even for different reasons.
I was going to say, and we might see two different things, but it still serves its point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
its reason for existence.
Exactly. And that's because the art is powerful. That's because the art has something to say.
I love
because
that.
the art didn't just go out there and do the easy thing. It did the harder thing. And I feel like now more than ever too, it's like those type of artists. I'm really into film, so like really, I watch more film than I listen to music. Truly, I love movies, and I feel like the key. It's the same thing. Money. It's all money. Like the corporate interests have changed film so much in the last 20 to 30 years. And I feel like it's the same thing with all these other industries, where we're starting to see this boomerang, where now people are craving auteur independent film again.
Which is good, because we haven't had that since the early 90s.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I love that.
It's taken so long for it to come back around.
Well, that's how I feel about comedy as well, because we had the comedy boom in the 80s, right? Where it was everywhere, and then it became so oversaturated that it died in the mid 90s, and we've been clawing our way back to it now again, and we're starting to see the rise of the comedy boom again, and it's going to break again. And I think we're starting to maybe hit that peak where, like, we were talking about the comedy clubs, but again, you know, if people get my book, go book yourself, we'll start having more and more independent productions and opportunities for more talent to get out there and people to hear more things and just different ideas. And, you know, I love that. I love when I see niche productions. You know, I'll be in, you know, say I'll be in Seattle doing shows, and I'll see that there is an all black female queer comedy show. It's like, is that something I can produce? Probably not. But I love that we're in a world where that exists. Yeah. Like, just listen to different ideas. Yeah. I want to see a Proud Boys comedy night. That's not Kill Tony, right? Like, and again, that's low fruit. That's an easy joke I'm making. But the fact of the matter is,
but I know what you mean, though.
But that, yeah, it's like, so do I? I'll be honest. I hate it. I hate Kill Tony stuff. Do I want it to go away? Maybe, but I'm not going to be the one to make it go away.
I always think about it like, you just if you don't like Kill Tony, make the better version of Kill Tony.
Yes.
That's how I think about it.
Flip
like
the fucking channel.
Yeah, or make something better. Like, if you hate it that much and you're a comedian, you're a producer, make something better that achieves the same thing. Because, I mean, you can't argue that Kill Tony doesn't give comedians opportunities. Sure. So that's how I think about it is,
I'm just worried about how good those opportunities really are. Because if they're only known because of Kill Tony, how long can you ride that? We've got some friends, I don't know if they're mutual, but from Chicagoland who have done Kill Tony, who have gone on to do some stuff. Yeah. And then it's like, but where are you now? Yeah. What are you doing next year? Yeah. You know, and so that's the kind of stuff you got to be thinking about. And not a lot of people want to do that.
No.
And there's nothing wrong for enjoying the ride. Fucking get your fun. Get it. You know, I'm just in it for something a little different.
Yeah. And you don't want to be part of the in-group. You want to be part of the everything group, in my mind. Like, you want to be part of a group, but you want to find a way for it to break out of that. Like, I mean...
Well, it depends on what they want. If they just want that quick in and out, get my cash and move on. Yeah. I can't... It's like the stock market. Like, if that's what you want to do, if you want to... I mean, I just listened to... Jeanette McCurdy's book. Yeah. For people who are of that generation. My kids watched iCarly.
From iCarly,
so I knew who she was. She's not an actor anymore. She doesn't want to be an actor. She hates fucking acting. She hated that job. I would too if I worked at Nickelodeon with Dan Schneider.
Something about her mom. What's the book called?
It's called I'm Glad My Mom Died. Yeah. It was really good. Yeah. Really good. You learned a lot about who she is as a person. And she's just an author now. She likes that. And now that she doesn't want to be an actress anymore. She doesn't want to do any of that. Fine. She made her money. Good for her. But so I don't have a problem if somebody wants to live their life and do that. I don't own the concept of entertainment. I'm just a piece of it. What I want from entertainment is very different than what other people want. Yeah. But I also know that it's very similar to what other people want as well. So we try to find each other and try to build with that stuff.
If anything, you just got to like build with the people who are going the same way as you. Because that's...
Well, it's more fun.
It's just easier. Because what I've learned is you surround yourself with people who don't have the same end goal and you start to get held back, you know? And I think that if you have a grand vision, it's like you're saying... Because how I always think about it is... It just depends what the end goal is, like what you want in the end. If you're at these open mics drinking with your buddies and it's really just about hanging out with your friends, that's fine. If you really just want to be like a club comic, just hanging out with your friends, and that's going to be it. But if you want to be like on the Tonight Show, on all these things, you're going the wrong way, and you need to change this whole operation.
Right foot, left foot, man.
Yeah. And you just need to change. Your actions need to line up with the end goal. And if they don't, there's a problem. And I think that...
Or just don't ask why you're not there.
Don't pontificate on why it's not working out for you, because...
Don't blame anybody else.
Exactly. And I think that, you know, it's an interesting thing where I find that, like how we said earlier, most people aren't going to do it for themselves. And my problem is I'm a giver, and I want to help people, and I want people to succeed.
Me too.
But I've also learned that you can easily give yourself away too much to people who they're not going to take that advice, and they're not going to use any of that, and it really doesn't matter anyway. You don't have to do any of that stuff.
Been there.
You're actually wasting your energy giving too much to that type of person, because you give to the right people and they actually give back to you.
Sure.
And they're in it for the same thing as you, so you actually have this synergistic relationship where you're both going up. But I don't think that can even happen.
I've absolutely had conversations with fellow comics, people who I know for a fact that who have asked me for my advice because they flat out said, because I want what you are doing.
Yeah.
I want what you have. And I say, well, this is what you have to do. Well, I don't agree with that.
And to me, what happens is, in that conversation, it's like, in my mind, it's clear as day, like, oh, so they don't have the mentality that it would take to do the thing that I do. And I'm okay with that. Like, I know that I'm unique. I'm happy that I'm unique, and I'm happy that my drive is, it makes me feel like when people tell me things like, when people give me praise, it makes me feel like I earned it, because I know I work harder than other people. Mm-hmm. But it also, with that comes the fact that I know I work harder than other people. I can't expect that from others. 90% of those
people don't even know how hard you have worked.
They don't even see it.
They don't see.
They don't even understand
all the work
it.
that goes beyond. Yeah.
Yes, or they think they because their framework is different. They think that's easy. Like, they think that I just got here.
I have a family member who, God bless him, he's very successful in business. Thinks he's the life of every party. And every time I talk to him, he's like, I could do what you do, Dave. In the back of my head, I'm like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You think you can do what I can do. But you have, because he thinks I just get up and make shit up. Sometimes I do. But it's a skill that I've trained in improv and learned how to fucking do, right? That I've spent money on to learn how to do. Uh-huh. But he thinks I just wake up in the morning and just think things and people give me money. And he's like, oh, I should be doing that. I'm like, and I tell him, I said, brother, I will, anytime you want to come to an open mic, I will bring you and I will let you watch you see what, because you know how it is. You some heckler and you're like, you come on up here, and you give them the mic and they can't fucking do it. And they always come back the same way, man, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Yeah, motherfucker. It's terrifying getting up on that stage and trying to convince people that you're worth listening to. Mm-hmm. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
So I don't care if you're a shitty comic. If you have the ability to get up on that stage, you're already light years ahead of people like my family member who wishes they could do it.
I agree. And I also think, like, it's the people who go out there and do it, those are the opinions that matter, Like, you can't even listen to the people who aren't doing it, because they just we all have opinions, and we all want to have an opinion, and that's human, and that's okay. Yeah. But it's like, listen, like, consider the source, who is telling you this? Because I agree with you. I think, like, even if somebody even goes as far as gets up on the stage and tries, I would listen to that person before I'd ever listen to the guy that never goes up there at all. Yep. Because that takes so much more courage. And it is a small group of people that do it, like, time and time again, you hear like, oh, I want to try that, but I don't know, with comedy, you'll hear it. I'm sure as a working comic, you hear it fucking all the time. Oh, you inspire me. I've always thought about doing comedy, but I just, I know I'm funny. My friends tell me I'm funny. Yeah. And
buy the book.
Yeah. Because those people will never, I think that it's just like, life is always a choice. It's like every moment is a choice, and it's about you fighting yourself and you proving to yourself that you can do what you think you want to do, and by proving it to yourself, you prove it to everybody else. Like, it actually starts with you just proving it to yourself and getting up on that stage.
Yeah, I mean,
physically doing it.
Very much the tenets of my book is all about just it. If you read the book, you will watch in real time as I realize shit.
Yeah.
You will watch in real time. And I even talk about some stuff in some later chapters where I'm like, the fact that you're reading this right now is me realizing this about myself. And I love that. I think it's so cool that even in that process, I'm going, oh, this is why this has worked for me.
Yeah.
And that's, you can't ask for anything more than that. I mean, to be able to have clarity on why you're breathing the way you breathe and why you think the way you think, and it's special.
It's interesting to me too, because that's something I've learned about myself, is that I used to think like even with the way I write music, I used to think it's almost formulaic in a sense. Like, I have a certain formulaic way of doing things, and I thought of that as a disadvantage. Like,
it's by the book, as in it's sort of strategic and almost obvious what I might do. But what I've learned over time is that's actually what makes me unique, is that I've developed a method. Like the fact that I breathe the way I breathe.
Your formula.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I love that.
And no one does it quite like that. And I used to think, oh no, this is just like, there's a couple rappers who do the same kind of thing. I would say, like, if you've heard of JID, he kind of has the same kind of thing. Okay. I think J. Cole does raps in that kind of way, but it's still not quite the same. Or even like a Kendrick Lamar raps that way. Where it's like every single word is strategically placed, and it all has to be that way for a reason, and it's all constructed in such a way. And like, I carry that mentality into everything. I know that about myself. I just have a way of doing things. And I think that it's just interesting to observe yourself in such a way, I suppose. Like, to be able, and I think art gives you that, or work gives you that, where you can reflect upon yourself in a way that you couldn't otherwise. Like, especially entrepreneurial work, I suppose. Where it's like you have to engage in a way that you can
always tell who's an entrepreneur. Like, the way they think and speak and act and behave. Yeah.
Yes, 100%, because the way their drive. It's a lot of it is just in the pure drive to achieve.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that, you're just not going to do it.
I think there's a whole big part of critical thinking that example is like the Common Core math stuff. So when I was a kid growing up, there was no critical thinking. It was just, this is how it goes. 2 + 2 = 4. 10 divided by 5 is 2, and this is how you do it. What I would do in my artistic brain is I would come up with these weird little characterizations and these weird little things. I would give personalities to my numbers, and 5 was a certain type of character and 7 was a certain kind of character, and I would do that, and they would almost become like personalities, right? That's incredibly unique and individual. What I felt as I was as a parent of children who were growing up in the Common Core education system, I'm going, this was somebody's weird way of doing like what I would do, but I know that my way was my way. Do you know what I mean? And Common Core was basically going, okay, this is one person's way of doing this cool cognitive thinking, but now we're going to make everyone do that same cognitive thinking. And it doesn't work like that. Right. And that's why Common Core failed tremendously.
Right.
And so it's very much what you're saying. Your formula is a formula you have developed in the way you produce your art that may be similar to other people, but it's not standard.
And I think that comes from independent mindedness.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of have to have that foundation of trying not to think like others, in a sense.
Right.
Like, just following your intuition.
As a musician myself, there's, we joked, there's only 13 notes. There's only so many combinations for melody. There's only so many chord progressions you can play.
Right.
And so many famous songs kind of all fall into that same 3 or 4 subgenres of chord progressions, right? I mean, canon in D is in everything, right? The 1 5 4 3 or whatever, like U2's With or Without You chord structure is the same for like a million other songs, right? What I enjoy, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, is when someone breaks from that. So they do. It thinks like it's canon in D, but then they take a chord change and you go into a different spot, and it's like, and then all of a sudden the brain goes, that scratches an itch that I didn't know I had. And that very much so that's what's so important about everybody's individualism. And when I was growing up, individualism was the pursuit.
That's America.
Be unique, be different. Well, lately we've been getting stuck in the rut of team mentality, of non-individualism, is you've got to conform.
Groupthink.
Groupthink. It's like, break away from that again. We got to go back to being unique.
I actually think that I would rather be exclusive than inclusive.
I agree.
1,000%. I think I like that a lot, because I think it's a bold statement that's easily misinterpreted.
Mob because always changes in mob mentality.
Yeah, and I think like being exclusive is being inclusive, because we're all unique, and in that we're the same. We're all supposed to be different, and that's what makes us unique. Those differences, like, you're a different race than me, you're a different gender than me, you're a different sexual orientation than me, that's good.
You're not like me.
Yeah.
You're
I don't
you.
like mushrooms on my pizza. This is how we live. You know, it's fine.
It's actually better that you're different than me, because if everyone was me, that would suck.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't want to get along with myself.
And what I like about individualism is when you stand out and go, look, because I am free to be me, you're free to be you.
Yeah. And I get surprised by other people, and I learn from other people, and other people provoke the wonder of the world within me. You know, like there's so much. I think everybody's their own infinity. Like there's an infinity within the eyes of everyone if you're willing to search for it.
Man,
right?
I didn't even smoke weed, and I am like so deep with you right now, bro. This is good.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what I do to people.
I love it. I love it.
But I think there's just so much inside of people. And, you know, I think that it's an easy thing to lose sight of.
Yeah.
You know, that's all right there. And that you can have that in you too. There's all these infinities within you. We were talking earlier about why it's trying to be open-minded and trying to engage with new ideas.
Yeah, it's always a self-choice that I think people don't realize.
Yeah.
It's always, you have to go into, it's like, you know, I got to go to my friend's birthday party and he wants to go play whirly ball. I fucking hate whirly ball.
And it's actually going anyway.
But going anyway.
That makes the world bigger.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what happens at the end of the night? I'm like, I'm glad I went. You know, it's always the way it is. So people need to kind of remember that about themselves. But
yeah. And put yourself out there in a way that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
In the way that really makes you uncomfortable. Not the thing that you're just kind of nervous about. The thing that you really think, oh shit, that makes you nervous. That makes you kind of scared. Yeah.
Do scary shit.
I get scared before I ever go on stage. That's why I love going on stage.
Yeah.
Because I'm always walking the line. And I know that I'll do it. I know I'll do fine because I always do fine. But I feel it. I feel alive. I feel like this is
that
risk.
first few moments. Yeah. I've been on stage since I was like 5 years old. I've been an entertainer my whole life.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still get butterflies before I go on. And I
think
love
you
that.
should. I think you're supposed
that.
to. I think the day that stops happening is the day the performer dies.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't ever want that to happen.
Yeah. And I think you'd be amazed how many of these top tier performers would tell you the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen it. I mean, listen, the best thing that ever happened to me was realizing that the people I idolized as a child are human beings.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I've been on stage with some people I grew up watching. I was fortunate, you know, to be able to do stuff with people I watched on TV growing up. And I'm trying so hard not to name drop because I feel like that's such a douchey thing. But like just to be on stage and go, oh wow, like they're just as scared as I was. Oh, they still don't, they're not sure what they're going to do. And they want to know what I think. And it's like, oh, this is cool. You know, and I love that. And that just kind of, we're going to be okay. You know, I have so much hope for humanity. I really do.
Me
I really
too.
do. I feel like we're going to be fine. You know, people, you know, politically it's crazy and charged right now. It's always charged. You know, if you really stop and look back at history, in the 70s, it was just as crazy. In the 80s, it was just as crazy. In the 90s, it was just as crazy. I just didn't pay as much of attention because I was younger. You know, I wasn't watching CNN when Clinton was president as much as I do now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I remember people being really pissed off about stupid shit. You know, it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So
there's a song I have called Confessionals, and I got my phone near me? No, so I'll just try to do it off memory. But the verse goes, let me think. I'll hope or reminisce. How you found me in the moment is the only evidence. If you want it, then you got it. Pull the dream right out your pocket. You a giant if you try it. You a liar if you honest. It's a whole entire universe. Deep inside of you, aside from you, now search. Dig deeper, a creature is in the features, a monster is in the works. I'm working to find the seekers, it's easier than it looks, but looking's the hardest thing. What you read in books ain't it, you ought to sing. Put the power in the people, and the people will devour. That's the reason we're in chains, we want it, the world is ours. Karma, keep me level, you won't find me MIA. Keep my head up on a swivel, keep my brain on what I say. Awoken, I have spoken, I'm asleep inside the grave. I'ma die so I'ma live. Karma, keep me wide awake. Yeah, Reaper, keep me wide awake, but whatever.
No, that's fucking amazing. Yeah.
I think that
I try to do that with my music, even to raise the consciousness of people, because I think that's what we're talking about is what that verse is saying.
It's your heart.
It's you're not going to find it in books. You're not going to read about it. It's expression, and the power is in us, and the power is in us every moment.
You will find it in this book,
and you also find it in that book right there that you're holding.
As soon as you said that in the line, I was like, that's good.
August 15th,
right? August 15th, yes. No, but yeah, I mean. I see a lot of what I think in what you're saying, and it's fascinating to me because, like I said, I have hope, and you're just confirming that for me. That you look at the world not exactly the same way as me for sure, but you have the same desire for us, which I think is cool.
It just fascinates me because I have this outlook on the world, and doing a show like this, I just find that time and time again, people who you would think wouldn't think that way do think that way. Like I'm so surprised by the human capacity to love and engage with one another. Yeah, time and time again. Like I think it's so beautiful.
Forgiveness is a powerful thing, and it's something that I'm constantly wrestling with.
Yeah.
Constantly wrestling with. And friends, family, people in my life.
Forgiveness is so about being, like, seeing the human and seeing the you in other people. And I can't...
Fuck forgiving this guy. I don't want to forgive. I don't have to. No, you don't. But
you don't.
It's going to be a lot better for you if you do. Forgiveness is never for the other person, by the way.
It's a virtue.
It's always been for yourself.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, the people you choose not to forgive are not fucking thinking about what they did wrong to you.
Right.
They're doing their own thing. And so it's all me just eating that. Like,
yeah.
You got to do it. You got to forgive.
And forgiveness doesn't mean giving people other chances either.
Yeah, no. It's that thing that you did, I forgive. But it's also my responsibility to protect myself from that happening to me again. Mm-hmm. That's the famous phrase, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Like, I should know better. And I have people in my life who I've absolutely forgiven, but I will never give an opportunity to again.
Pretty sure the George Bush quote is, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 times, a fool can't get fooled again.
The point is you shouldn't fool people, okay? It's not good. Bet you fuckers miss me now, don't you? Yeah.
But I mean, it's... Yeah. Fool's gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think that... I don't know. I wonder. I just wonder all the time how exhaust. Like, it makes me think of religion. It makes me think of these people throughout history who have tried to preach love and forgiveness and togetherness. I don't think it's genuinely an effective strategy if you're trying not to get murdered or viewed not fondly in the past.
No, but pay attention to the ones who have gotten murdered for it. Those are the ones you got to go, well, what were they really saying?
Yeah, exactly. And I think
all of them.
And that's exactly it. I think it's the most dangerous thing you can do is try to bring people together in a genuine way. Truly. Like, to actually want people to come together, because that is the most dangerous thing. Like, we are powerful if we come together. And I just think about, like, I think the system is stacked against those types of people. Mm-hmm. And I think it's so interesting watching, because I think people as a whole are intelligent. They're actually extremely intelligent. Audiences are intelligent. They're really smart, but it's about how smart you treat them to be. Yeah. And I think that we've all been dumbed down by this media apparatus to the point where we don't even realize that that's happened. And the only thing that can raise that consciousness, that can take us out of that, is like art. It's platforms like these. It's things that engage with actual, like, that engage with the intention of creation and creating something bigger and better. Like, I think the best conversations are ones where we're both aiming towards something better. Neither of us are trying to make a point so much as get towards something else. And we don't know what that is. Neither of us know what that is, but we're going to get there and we'll figure it out. And that's Improv 101. Yeah. That's building towards something bigger. That's professional wrestling. That's acting. That's the social contract.
Jumping off the cliff and building the plane on your way down.
Yeah. And the understanding that now is the time more than ever to do that, you know? Yeah. And I think we all feel that deep down. And it's just a matter of people who are actual leaders, people who are actually willing to lead that charge doing it, and people who are actually willing to have that. Because I think love is divisive. That's the craziest thing.
Sure.
When you speak with the message of pure love, and like if you were to speak with the values of Christianity and God and Jesus, that's actually a divisive opinion. If you give your Christian love to everyone, just like Jesus and God would, well, now you're loving everyone.
Yep, and we're selfish.
And that includes all the bad guys.
But I don't want to love my neighbor because he pisses me off.
Mm-hmm. And that's why it's a value and a principle and a guiding light that you have to live by, is that idea that everyone is worthy of love and forgiveness, because so are you. And so are you.
Thankfully, that's the whole point. Yep. That is really the whole point, is the whole loving thy neighbor mentality is, and I'm speaking as somebody who is, working his way towards 50 years old. So 5 decades walking this rock, and the people that you forgive and the love that you give to others who maybe don't deserve your love, every fucking one of them in time changes.
I think what's crazy too is what love can do to a person.
Yes, very much so.
You can change them.
Absolutely. And I've seen it.
It's like, a wounded animal will act like it's wounded, but if you give that animal love and you give it care, it will start to play again and be happy again.
Yep, absolutely.
And people are just the same. We if we're treated like this monster, we become a monster.
Oh, if you know where to find it, you can see tons of it.
Yeah,
you can see tons of it. I watch. My algorithm is really interesting. I purposely try to curate my algorithm to forcefully show me things that I really need to be seeing, and I do. And I see a lot of street conversations and people, especially if it's, religious or whatever, but like seeing how people are so anti whatever. And there's a level of, look, I get it. I understand why you're anti what you're anti. I do. And I think people don't hear that enough, is they just think if I'm this side and you're that side, it's never been black and white. Yeah. And to just be like, I understand, like the Chris Rock joke. Like, I understand, you don't have to agree with my politics. I understand why you don't.
Well, and that's why steel manning someone else's argument is such a powerful thing to do, right? Like it's demonstrating that I understand you. Yeah. If I can say to you why you think what you think, then that's the only way I'm ever going to be able to change your mind. If I don't even understand why you think what you think, we're never going to get anywhere. Yeah. It's just not going to happen.
Well, and I think a deeper thing, if you want to go real deep, is the reason why I know why when people are evil or wicked or capable of such wickedness, it's because I know I am.
Yeah. And I think we all are.
I've had that conversation with a family member recently who was struggling with something, and they were like, well, how can you be so assuming that this thing this person's doing is this or that? And I said, because I know I'm capable of it.
Yeah.
And if I know I'm capable of it, and I'm capable of convincing the world that I'm the kind of person that I am, although while at the same time still being capable of great malice and evil, then so are they. And they're exhibiting outward examples of them doing evil. So it's like, it's not that I'm a cynic, it's just I'm a realist.
Yeah.
And so it just dictate, and the only thing I can do is worry about my own walk, right? So all it can do is just educate and dictate how I choose to walk and live and interact with people. And at the end of the day, if I'm being honest, I just want everybody around me to be happy. I just want everyone around me to have a good time. I don't want anybody around me to be sad. That's why I'm a comedian, is I want you to laugh. I want you to smile. I want you to have a good time. I don't want you to have a bad time. If you're having a bad time, that brings me down. I'm empathetic. I feel that pain that you're feeling. So that's my cross to bear, so to speak. But that's why I'm an entertainer, is I want to, whatever in the world has got you down, I want you to not think about it for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
That's my goal. If I can get you to just stop thinking about politics, stop thinking about religion, stop thinking about your bills, stop thinking about your car, stop thinking about your parenting or your children or your parents. Let's just have fun.
When I think that,
it's like film.
I don't want to call it escapism.
I mean, it is.
But I think that losing yourself in art is magic.
It is.
That's
absolutely
actual magic.
Even magic is fun to be a part of.
Yeah.
I mean
that like I think about it like a low grade hypnosis, right? Where it's like when you're killing, when you have that crowd. Mm-hmm. I think that there's just something that happens that reminds us all what life is and what humanity is.
Oh, I've never felt more alive
shared
than
experience.
when I'm slaying a room.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's just something so It's like it's elevating the everyday moment into something greater. And I think only true performers can do that.
Yeah.
You know?
And then and this is what's so wild about the art form in itself is it's very easy for me to go, they're giving me what I want.
Yeah.
And that's when I got to stop and go, no, we have to share this.
Yeah.
We have to share this. This is not me. Yes, I built this stage, but the goal was for us to share.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very dangerous. It's very, and that's the beauty of it, right? That's the dichotomy. It doesn't have to be Christianity. It could just be any type of yin and yang or Taoism or whatever the fuck you want to talk about. But like, it's that it's right there. You could touch the evil that comes with this thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I know it's there, but what I want is the righteous, the moral, the ethical, the let's share, let's grow, let's commune, let's be together. And that's where the sweet spot is. And that's what I try for.
There's another quote from another song I got faith in the sea, there's an ocean of people, and there's a Satan in me.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's that idea where it's like, and whenever I say that, you know, it's like I'm saying it to a crowd.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it's like clear as day.
Yeah.
It's like me saying, I have faith in humanity because I know there's good and evil in all of us. Mm-hmm. That's, you know, just like there's good and evil in me, there's good and evil in all of you.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if there's good in the evil and there's evil in the good.
It coexists and it's choices.
Yin and Yang's a great way to think about it because it's the perfect image where you can view it as a whole, you know?
Yeah, and I would take it a step further and say recognizing the evil in all of us, I think is another step towards, you know, staying clean or getting above
I would say a step towards salvation.
Salvation, yeah. Fair enough, yeah.
Like how we get out of that is seeing it in the first place.
Yeah.
Because I think like I think people just aren't so self-conscious too. Like I think that it's people being self-conscious that makes people more conscious. I think people
about the wrong things usually.
Yeah, and I think
my hair looks, how I smell,
we're all animals, dude. We're instinctual.
We
act on
creatures,
feeling,
man.
Yeah. We pretend that we act on thoughts and logic, but that's not true.
Yeah.
We act based on pure instinct, and then we make up reasons for why we did things.
We and out of all the living things on this planet, we are by far one of the most intricate. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Squids and octopuses are very interesting too. But other than that, I don't know of any other animals who
dolphins with all their sounds and all this.
Yeah, I mean, but again, that's just one element, right? Like we do bajillion calculations of things. You know, just the way we think and the way we process are just it's fascinating. Just, you know, you look at like an ant colony, and then you look at cars on the street. I mean, I'll driving down Lakeshore Drive, looking at all the buildings, going, each one of these little squares has an entire life, living a reality, a perspective that I'll never know that this person's life is what it is in that one square in that window.
Yeah.
And there's millions of them. You know what I mean? Like, it's fascinating.
Yeah. I can't remember what the book was, but it's called On Human Nature. And it's like it was the beginning of, I want to say, sociobiology, yeah. And so it was kind of the book that laid the foundation of sociobiology. And the argument they're making is that we're similar to those bees and those ants in the sense that perhaps those patterns that we follow are just imperceivable to us. And maybe it is the case that would be the argument for no free will even, right? That maybe...
Oh, I wrestle with that all the time.
Yeah, maybe we're just human and we're so human that we think we're so smart and we think that all these things we do are for these reasons. But we actually are predictable and we actually do work... I mean... Think about these social contracts, and they're not written down anywhere. Yeah. We never actually...
No, if we weren't predictable, we wouldn't... I think if we weren't predictable, we wouldn't survive.
And the reason sociobiology came around is because it would be the case where you would have the American government having to interact with like Native Americans. And the Native Americans, they would say to them, we want to buy this land. And the Native Americans would say, we don't own this land. God owns this land. Yeah. Okay, so how do you talk to each other then, right? And so you have to create sociobiology as this thing of conceptualizing space and time. And because you realize cultures think about those things differently. Yeah. And it is just the framework of your mind is so independent. You don't even realize, you know?
Yeah.
And
I heard somebody on 4th of July just post something about how, you know, in contrast to somebody saying, oh, you were on stolen land. It's like, yeah, the Native Americans didn't have the right to this land either. They came across from Asia.
Yeah.
On the land bridge. They took the land too. It's nobody's land. Like every land is taken.
Yeah.
Every land is taken. And it's like, oh yeah, I guess so. We just, you could spend hours just going inward and looking back through time and just trying to, it gets exhausting. But at the end of the day, we're only alive for on average 70 years, right? So like, when you and I die, who gives a shit what we thought?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think about that too. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But
and it's just like a pinpoint in time, And I think like what I try to maintain in all the things I do is a level of timelessness. And, I think the best filmmakers do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's more human than it is of the time that it's in. And you can watch a great film from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. If it's timeless, it doesn't matter when you see it. And
Star Wars is always going to be fun to watch.
And the reason is because that is a mythological tale. It's a coming of age tale of something. It's light versus dark. It's all these concepts in the framework of a sci-fi movie.
1000%.
It's not because it's a sci-fi movie.
Yep.
It's because there are elements that make it timeless and human.
The same elements in Lord of the Rings. It's
exactly.
And those are classics. They will all forever be classics.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree. I think that's, with your music or
it's something I think people aren't careful enough with. They don't realize how aged they're making.
It's a responsibility.
Yeah. Like those Austin people, that whole being offensive thing. Like if it really is a wave, they don't realize how that ages, They're not,
I think they don't.
They don't, because it's 10 years, 20 years. Oh, they were doing that thing they were doing 10 years ago. Whereas, no, you want to be ahead of the curve. You want to be the guy who already knows where it's going and you're doing the next thing.
Or just believe enough in your message.
Yeah.
That you go,
and make it become the next thing.
And then you just go 100% into it. Like that's what I try to do. I know what my core message.
And that's what someone could learn from your book, too.
It is. And this book is called Go Book Yourself. Nobody's coming to save you, so build your own stage. It's going to be available on Amazon August 15th.
I beat you to it that time.
I appreciate it.
I almost felt it coming. No,
that's good.
I was like, this is the perfect segue.
This is it.
That must be what, because I've never hardcore.
Collective consciousness. We felt it.
Yeah.
That's a thing, for sure.
I need to be a pusher. I need to learn how to be a pusher. Like whenever I appear on anything else, I need to have a mission. And I think I'm going to start doing that. Like I'll go in with one new single, and I'll go in with like my podcast, and every 20 minutes I'm going to push it.
Dude.
Yeah.
No, literally, that is what you should be doing.
Because you got a good strategy going there.
1000%. But
because you got it in my consciousness.
But I do it. And yes, I'm doing it tongue in cheek because I'm a comedian, and that's the way I communicate.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you also know that I'm not being authentic with you.
Right.
And that's the other thing is you have to be willing to be open, and you have to be honest with people, and just like, this is who I am. This is what it is, and I love my life, man. I really do. And I want people to get to that place because I know how shitty the world can be. Mm-hmm. And I know how it can affect us mentally. I have people in my family whom I love who can't do what I can do. And I watch them as they struggle with reality and the world. And it's like, man, I'm telling you, if I could just give some of this perspective to other people. So it doesn't have, you don't have to do everything I do, but do some of it.
Yeah.
And maybe it might help you get to a place where I don't walk ignorantly through the world, but I'm certainly not as stressed as I once was growing up. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm happy. I'm just happy. And who doesn't fucking want that? You know? So there it is.
Well, you feel that? You feel that natural conclusion?
There it is.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. Pee, so I think it works real well.
The end of the show, we do two things. All right. So one, this show's obviously for 3 to 5 year olds. All right, that's my That's my core audience.
For sure. That's why I made sure to say fuck at least 5 times.
At least 5, minimum.
At least 5.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good to curse towards the kids. I mean, you said earlier that woman says you talk to your kid like
an adult.
She's an adult.
I did. I never baby talked my kids ever.
Meaning, I don't talk to kids that way either.
Yeah.
And I curse at them.
That's fair. That's fair.
I really do think though, like you're fostering an adult when you treat them like an adult.
Yeah.
And you're fostering a child when you treat them like a child.
The sooner I could teach my kids that this world sucks and will beat the shit out of you if you don't learn how to get up and get back up and keep going, then
And it's not pessimism. It's realism.
No, it's because I've got bruises and scars.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's in the book.
I in a podcast I did with a saxophonist, Tracy Baker. Okay. He told me success is about survival. And I think that is such a great way to think about it.
1,000%.
It's just about being able to get back up and survive.
I'm a huge Martin Short fan, and I just read his book, and he famously says, everything of mine you've seen, you haven't seen 90% of the failures that I've had.
Yeah.
He goes, for every movie that I had that worked, I did 6 movies that no one ever saw. Mm-hmm. And it's like, his failures are very much a part of the job, and he's just going. He just doesn't stop. God bless him. I love Martin Short, Steve Martin, all those guys. Just keep fucking going.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
That's for the kids. The show's for the kids.
Show's for the kids.
The little kiddies, those tiny little kiddies about to get off the school bus, take off their earbuds, and enter reality. So what we do in this program is at the very end, we give them advice. I feel like we gave them a lot of advice. We almost just did just now, but I want you to give them your own personal nugget of knowledge. Whatever it is, the little bow on top that's coming straight out of your brain, that piece of actionable content for the kids to remember. And also to the social medias where they can find you, the place they can see your face, all the work you've done, where your special is, where they can get your book, all that stuff. Your time to say it now.
The easiest way to find me is my full name, David Vox Mullen, DavidVoxMullen. Every social media handle, my website is davidvoxmullen.com. It's all there. Obviously the simplest answer is go book yourself. Nobody's going to give you a stage, so you build it yourself. No, but what I would tell the youngsters is, look, be you and let everyone else be themselves, period. Live the way you want to live and let others live the way they want to live. And the sooner you stop getting concerned with how they're living, the happier you're going to be. As long as they promise not to worry about how you live. That's the agreement. That's what it's supposed to be.
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world, yeah.
Which, by the way, a perfect world is not that perfect. That's the thing you realize. The perfect world isn't perfect.
That's true.
And that's what makes it so beautiful. That's what makes waking up so great, is that there are bad things. There's the yang and the yin. There's the good and the bad. So just be happy that you get to talk to somebody else at all.
Tomorrow is not promised to you or me. So the fact that you woke up today is a pretty big fucking deal.
Yeah. All right. Sweet. How sweet.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Thanks for being here, man.
Absolutely.
I'm glad we were able to do it, despite all of our previous technical difficulties and, God being against us with the weather.
I don't know what, man. It's been crazy.
I'm glad you could be here because I feel like you and I, we think very similarly. And
I see it. Yeah.
I mean, I've even thought that just from your crazy social media post that you put out there. I already knew you and I are the same kind of crazy.
Yeah. I just, my thing at the end of the day is
we're visionaries.
Yeah, visionary, but also wake up.
Yeah.
Everybody just wake up. It's not hard to really see what's going on.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, and it's not hard to see. And all it takes is somebody to shine a flashlight down the tunnel. And so, it takes me, it takes you. When we need a whole lot of batteries.
A whole lot of batteries. But, probably more batteries than the other guy.
And I can actually op more than the Energizer Bunny. So
You've heard of bunnies? We've got cougars. We've got who wants faster pumas. We've got pumas and cheetahs. Ooh. So many batteries.
So many batteries, so many pumas. They said I committed battery, but that was actually not true.
I got to work on whoever's going to be the next president.
I might come back. So if I do,
if Donald did 3, I could do 3.
If he did 3, I actually think I could do 3 better. I could do 4 score, 3 score, however many score I need. It's really the reason I ever started to do Obama. It's the
Obama impression. Is the
this is what it is, and that's what it was.
Sasha, Malia.
The other impression that I've gotten, there's 2 that I've gotten better at that I'm proud of. So I gotta start with Kermit. So it starts with Kermit, something like this, and then you get up in here. And the thing about the liberals is they're trying to take over the universities.
Is that the Jordan Peterson?
Well, it's Jordan Peterson. But you see, a lobster is not a lobster. You see, you got to understand, it's greater than that. And these concepts that you're thinking about, it's like these liberals co-opt the concepts and they make it what it's not. And so then it's like, what is God? And what is Christianity?
And you're bloody well better be ready.
And you bloody well better be ready for the fight. The war is happening. The revolution is imminent. But is a revolution? Is a revolution here right now?
I did a Jordan Peterson impression way too soon. And the audience had no idea who I was talking about. And I was like, wow, I guess he wasn't as mainstream as I thought back then.
Now he is, though.
Now he is, but it was like I did it just because I was consuming the content, and it was just funny.
For me, Jordan Peterson is just, you can never make a definitive statement. That is the Jordan Peterson impression to me, is you're always so wishy-washy about everything. It's kind of like Trump, but not really, because he'll break down words. Yeah. He'll be like, well, you see, it's like you say, I am, but what are you? Because you are, but am. You break down the word am is like, am is Sam I am, and it could be all sorts of things.
And Dr. what is Seuss, Sam? And Dr. Seuss, he was a visionary. He wasn't a clinical psychologist like I was.
And then there's this one. I've gotten a lot better with this. The problem is you gotta not be too deep. You gotta kind of reel it in a little bit, and you can't hurt your throat. And 1776 will rise again. And I'm actually not worried about Trump. I think he's going to come back around. I don't know why he stopped being friends with me. He stopped answering the phone, and he actually stopped doing all the things that he said he was going to do. But I still believe in him, and I still think that everything's totally going to be fine. Tune in after this commercial break. Not InfoWars anymore, though. This is my independent phone network.
Now it's The Onion.
Now it's The Onion. We switched to The Onion. You need to get a track phone to watch.
So yeah, that one I've taken it used to hurt, and I've figured out how to do it without it hurting. That one's not easy.
Yeah. Black helicopters, man.
They've been watching me for the last 6 months. It's World War III. It's going to happen tomorrow, but it didn't happen the last time I said, or the last time.
The last 10,000 times I said.
The World War III is actually always going to happen every time I say, but the government hears me, and they don't want you to believe. So they cancel it, and they move it to 6 months later.
I'll tell you what, man. The last 2 years was the realization of how all of that is an act. I didn't realize.
The Alex Jones?
I just thought like he really believes these things. Like, no, I don't
You're right.
So.
It came out.
It's an act.
I either think he got co-opted, or like somebody came along and figured out how to break him.
Yeah.
Or it's been an act all along.
Well, and it's not just him. It's a lot of them.
Yep.
Who do that. But I never even considered that, oh, wait, these guys it's all bullshit.
Yeah, it makes me sad.
It does. Me too. Because I grew up, Alex Jones has been a thing since I was in high school.
Yeah. Shout out the days when he was back on YouTube.
Yeah, even before YouTube existed. Mancow used to have him on the radio.
When he was predicting 9/11.
Yeah,
and all
that was crazy. When Bill Clinton was president, it was, the government ordered black body bags to go to Chicago and New York and LA, and something's going to go down. And it never happened, but whatever.
And he would look like a Democrat back then.
Yeah. Well, it depends on who's in power.
Exactly.
It's always whoever's in power. It's the other side.
The problem is that Trump is anti-establishment, so somebody like him gravitates towards that.
He ran the wave until he won, but then once you won, now you have to own the problem.
You
really can blame
do
Biden for everything, and then when you're in, now it's yours.
Yeah, it's just funny because like with the dynamic with Jones and Trump, it's like,
well, he answered the phone, but now he never calls me back. I don't really understand. I thought we were friends.
Like that's actually what his relationship with Trump. And Trump cozied up to him for a minute and then just forgot about him.
It's almost like he just was friends with me so he can get elected. And,
but that can't be true.
Because all I did was ask for more Epstein files, and for some reason he doesn't like that. I don't know why.
But don't worry, I'm going to get back to him. It's all going to come back around.
All those guys, it's like, oh, wow, just to watch how they change their tune. It's just it.
Yeah, and that's.
I'd rather tell jokes.
Yeah, love is the only law, boys and girls.
Love is the only law. I love that. That's good.
And with all that being said.
Clocking out. Double down, competition couldn't help him to rock. Missed the whole time, holy fell through the flock. That's an ordinary miracle, wealth to the block. It's a balance in the character, this calm and collect. It's apparent his caricature is lost in the mess.